business, ma'am. Side, please. Side, please. Thank you. Official business, sir. Ma'am, emergency. Please step aside, sir.
Hey, get lost. I'm waiting here, huh?
FBI, you might want to stay out of this, all right, sir? Excuse me, sir. Ma'am, please, back off. All right, I need 8 double tall.
So you have to wonder, is it possible that this is 6 Scale Cantina's Hot Toys Talk again for the second week in a row, back at the time that started it all live, Saturdays, 6 p.m. Eastern? And I say, yes. Man, we've got a great show for you. A bunch of topics to get into. We've got Lane in the house from Planet Tatooine. He's my neighbor. Lane, how are you, buddy?
I'm feeling much better than I did last week. I do apologize again that I wasn't able to show up with everybody with the wonderful panel that was last weekend, but I am really glad to be back now.
Yeah, I think you had a little bit of what they call tauntaun fever, with a little bit of Mace Pancake, fever going on as well. So you had to like double.
Yeah, the curse of the Pancake Man came and hit me.
And we've got Victoria from Victoria's Cantina back in the Cantina. What's going on?
Hey, Aries. Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Everyone in the chat, thanks for hanging out with us. Great to be back, Aries. It's been a minute, and super stoked to be able to talk Hot Toys with you tonight.
Yeah, it's been a minute. But Desy, it's only been a second with Hot Toys announcements. Yeah. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to be here, Aries. Thank you for the invite. Good to be here on a Saturday. It's nice.
Well, listen, we have so much to get into. We had another wave of Hot Toys. It was absolutely crazy. It wasn't just one. It wasn't just 2 or 3 or 4, but 5, baby. Let's go ahead and dive into all this right now. And welcome everybody to another episode of Hot Toys Talk right here at 6 Scale Cantina. And just in case you don't know just who I am the Dark Jedi, Aries Tarrington, and I'll be serving up all the Star Wars Hot Toys Talk, along with all the Hot Toys Talk, along with Lane, Victoria, and Desy. And listen, panel, it's been crazy with Hot Toys. I feel like ever since that DX28 came out, that Bespin Luke back on April 13th, it has just been gangbusters, Desy, from there till now. I don't know if it's going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah, it's been a lot of announcements, but I think more importantly, a lot of releases too. So that's healthy as well, because they need to catch up with their announcements, and they have been. So like you said, Aries, it's been so many awesome announcements, so many things to keep up with. My budget spreadsheet is going crazy here. So, but it is that's crazy in a good way. Crazy in a good way. Glad to see all these releases, beautiful releases this week. Shockers with Robocop, and amazing, just amazing.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And looking at some of the people in the chat, let's go ahead and fill you up. We've got Charlie the Unicorn in the house. WPS, that the 808 Michigan Jedi went ahead and established there. And they hired TK FOMO. So he's part of the Wildland Protection Services. Good to have Charlie the Unicorn in the house. What is going on? We've got the insane one in here. What is going on, my friend? Good for Health is in the house. Come on, come on, come on. Good to have you in here. And the Best Scar Kid finished another unboxing just in time. Let's go. No, I hear you, baby. Listen, I just did an unboxing yesterday. I recorded it. It's going to go up on the Insiders. I got to the Django. Right here, baby. Sitting right here in front of me. Listen, is it possible that I spilled my spatchka all over this thing? You're gonna
I hope not. You're gonna have to send it back for a replacement.
It came that way, Lane.
There's a little bit of flavor. It might have came that way. I might get some special releases there.
Aries special edition coffee stain uniform Django. Gotcha.
But good to have in here. Continuing to go on. MB Dyson is in the house. Am I the only one dancing to the theme song? I'm sure you're not.
I'm usually moving and grooving like every time I've been on to that since he changed to that theme.
Ash Chase is in here. What up, everyone? Good to have you in here. And Jetta's in here. Jetta Patrol. Good to have Ryan in here. What's up, people? What's up to you there, Ryan? One of the biggest channels in the community. Great to have Jetta in here for sure. Of course, Victoria's in here saying subscribe. Absolutely. Thalia, what is going on? Good to have you in here as well. And look, a friend of TK Phobo, CT603. Hey, folks, wiping down the detox, changing up some poses, and sipping coffee, waiting on the wizard. Wizard spilled a lot of coffee last week. Let's go ahead and fill up those at table 2. I don't know if the Thor is in here, but let's fill up table 2 first, panel, for the first time tonight.
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
Oh, my goodness gracious. Try to go down all the comments in here. And listen, if I miss any, I'm just an old guy trying to set the controls. At the heart of the sun. Some of you Pink Floyd fans know what I'm talking about when I say that. But keep going on in the chat, and I will try to get to you. Defadome is in here. What is going on? Vader 45 is in here. Knight of Ren is in here as well. There's the 808 saying, did I hear my name somewhere? I guess we got to fill up table 5. If Popsic's in the house, I probably need to get up there. Popsic's in table 5 always. Michigan Jedi is at table 88. Let's fill them both up because Grogu bounces to both places, baby. Good to have them all in here. Combat Evolve, what is up to you? There's the Thor saying, of course I'm here. Another. Yeah, well, I think that Hot Toys has been giving up another in here. William Cote is in here. Pedro is in here. Old Wave Kid is in here. Goodness gracious, panel. There's so many in here, Lane. I'm kind of losing my mind. Eric is in here. There's the man. It's Popsic. Also a Cantina inside. I'm ready to spill my coffee. Mary, what is up to you? Good to have you in here always, Mary Sullivan. Goodness gracious. Fabs is in here. Fabio, the man with more figures than I have ever seen. What is going on? My man Fabio is in here. And remember, everybody, the big show with Aries and Fabio will be Monday. I got to plug it, late. Monday at 8:30. Yeah, absolutely. So you don't want to miss that. Fabio in here. Good to have you in here, my friend.
No, I'm sorry. I was referencing the comment Pops at me right after that as he mentions Fab's late as always.
Well, yeah, it's never me. I'm never late. A wizard arrives exactly when he means to. Absolutely crazy. Wife of 808 Michigan Jedi. Gosh, I guess I could go all day just saying hi to everybody, Victoria, but welcome everybody in here. But going to you real quick before we go to the first topic and go to the first things. You must have felt, we had this wave last week, and Desy opened up talking about, wow, it's been crazy since April 13th. What did it feel like to be at San Diego Comic-Con and see everything there? And I'm sure you passed by the Hot Toys section as well. But the Black Series section, Hasbro section. A lot of Star Wars, man.
You know, I didn't just pass by the Hot Toys sideshow section. I actually like hunkered down in there and like almost like wanted to move in. It was great. Like everything was, you know, you see these in online, but then when you actually get there in person and you see what you're going to get, or at least what you can expect to get once it ships to you, that's like a whole other like experience. So seeing like, you know, Obi-Wan, the new one in person, seeing like the prototypes that we've seen for some of that stuff in person, seeing the Mando's N1 Starfighter in person, like, you know, it just really like gives you, it puts things in another plane of perspective for you. And yeah, it was great. You know, saw a lot of people, you know, that, you know, from YouTube and, you know, folks that, you know, always is, you know, are a joy to talk to. And yeah, had a great time. It's great seeing them in person and just like being in that environment where everybody's there sharing, you know, common interests. Everyone's geeking out over all the new merchandise and the exclusives and all the panels and stuff. You know, definitely a blast.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm sure you must have. It must have felt good deep down inside. I'm sure you probably got some goosebumps looking at a lot of that stuff in there. So really good stuff. And everybody, you got to check out some of Victoria's coverage that she did at San Diego Comic-Con. You could do that subscribing to Victoria's Cantina. And I got the link to her along with Desy, Metamorphic Customs, in the video description below. Lane, you don't get a link because you're my neighbor. You know, you have your place right next to the cantina.
To kind of relate the excitement and everything, what we're talking about with the announcements, the figures, and just even with SDCC, Terry, who, you know, does a lot of some of the videos for Sideshow and stuff, he does his own stream in the mornings. And it was really funny listening to him talk this morning because people were asking him questions about the figures. And I just like, because he had basically said Hot Toys, basically like, you know, for San Diego Comic-Con, they had a rep just show up and like opened up a travel bag full of Hot Toys figures. They had no notice beforehand or anything. It was just a big box of things. And I thought it was funny because he was like, oh, wait, is the Darth Vader going to be in there? He was super excited. Like, wait. Oh, they got the Darth Vader. It's going to be the one with, he was like, you know, like, it's going to be the one with the shattered helmet. He looked and it was just a regular one. He was like, I was so excited. It's going to be the one with,
yeah.
It's
a lot of excitement. Yeah.
Yeah. He was really hoping it was going to be that one. But, you know, he said he thinks the pictures, you know, that they put out for the release, like, must have just like super recently been done up and everything.
Interesting.
And completed for when they were put up. But I thought that he, who's a person who has probably seen so many Hot Toys in his life, as many as Fabio, you know, or has had been paid to pose.
As many as Howard.
Yeah. And that even he, a guy who deals with them as part of his livelihood for years now and for so much, even he, for one of those figures like that Darth Vader, was just so super excited. He's like, I'm disappointed because it didn't have this thing that I didn't even know I was necessarily going to have till they showed up 20 minutes ago.
Well, listen, I got to answer this from Nihilus Gray. Aries, who you got tonight? Nunez or Pena? Well, look, baby, listen, I didn't think that was tonight. I thought it was Derek Lewis tonight, but maybe I'm wrong. I thought that was in a couple of weeks. So listen, you got to let me know. If Amanda Nunez and Juliana Pena are fighting tonight, I'm going to spill my coffee, baby, because I didn't think that was for a couple of weeks, and that's definitely that fight one of these days. But without a doubt, I have got Amanda Nunez. She will come back, and she will take Pena out. That is my call. I wouldn't take that call, though, and go bet on Vegas with that, though.
You know, Aries, the like cyber version of that guy from Top Gun must absolutely hate you. Because he has to change his shirt every like 10 seconds because of that scene, and you've run it so many times.
Thule goes, if Nunez comes in hungry, she will win. Nunez wasn't motivated enough last time, and I agree with both of those points. Let's go ahead and go to the first topic. I am bringing up here 6-Scale Cantina. That is the banner of this show. Hot Toys Talk. You see, we got Dark Side Anakin in the background on the left side behind Gina Carano. What's that all about? We're going to talk about that. Of course, you see the arena Boba Fett kind of on the bottom right-hand side. And of course, that DX28 Darth Vader. Are you kidding me? And listen, we're going to get into some of this breaking Hot Toys news for Star Wars later on in the show. But the first topic we're going to get into here, panel, is going to be Hot Toys end of July wave of thrills. So just like Desy, going to you first, when I opened this up, the show, I was basically saying how we got a wave of thrills on May 4th. And man, oh man, it was 1 figure, 2 figures, 3 figures, 4 figures, 5 figures. And look at this last week. They gave us the DX28. You see the Darth Vader here. Let me go ahead and tack on Marvel and all the other stuff here so we get them best-selling wise, pulling them up onto the screen. And you see Darth Vader just killing it here up at the top. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Desy, let's go to one of the first ones I want to talk about over here, because we got to go through these waves. And let's go ahead and go to the first one. I'm going to go ahead and pull up onto the screen. We got 5 figures. I'm including the Desy, the DX28 Vader. We're going to get to him last. But I do want to talk about this mighty Thor, Natalie Portman. I want to get your impressions on this figure, A. And then I want to get your I'm going to ask you this now, because I don't see this too much in Star Wars. I haven't seen it at all lately, but I see it in Marvel. Why do they hide the head sculpts on a lot of the Marvel figures or other figures, but they never seem to do that on a Star Wars one? Why do you think that is? That's the second question. Go, Desy.
I would assume that's just a pending licensor approval kind of thing, but this is more specific because I know all the prototype pictures always say that. They always say that in the corner somewhere, prototype pictures, right? But when it's a an actor's facial, appearance, they might not be able to show that until they have the final approval from the studio, who's maybe getting the approval directly from the actor. That is an assumption on my part, but that's probably what it is, right? And that maybe on Marvel, that's just, they had it on, what did they have it on? They had it on Mysterio for a while or something like that. Ant-Man, correct me if I'm wrong. They have it on this one now. Norman Osborn, right? So maybe there's just something that it's a mix between they need to get approval from the licensor / the actor. I'm going to go with that. And it's got to be that.
Yeah, and I think that's a good. I pretty much agree with that, because even though it's kind of hard to see through the veil, I could almost tell it's her behind it. So I think it is a licensing issue, my friend.
Yeah, I don't think it's we didn't get to finish it, so we're not sure. I don't think that's it. I think it's there. Like they're waiting for approval or something, which should be fine. Yeah.
And give me your impressions on this figure. What do you think?
I think it's pretty cool. I don't have any nitpicks or negative comments here. I think they've got everything. I like the fact that it's seamless arms. I know you've got 2 camps there, maybe even 3 camps. I prefer seamless arms, so I like that. I like the design of the character. I have not seen this movie yet, but so far, so good. Just waiting to see that facial sculpt, which is important to me.
Victoria, going to you. What was your impressions when we got Natalie Portman here? There were a lot of people that were suggesting, hey, I don't know if we're actually going to get Mighty Thor. We didn't get her in the past. Are we really going to get her this time? I kind of understood that take as well, but I also kind of thought, it seems like they're coming out with every one of these lately, and I felt like this is overdue. So I'm really happy to see Natalie Portman come out here with Mighty Thor. What are your thoughts?
I'm super excited. I saw the movie. I really loved it, and I loved Mighty Thor. I got the Marvel Legends to hold me over for the time being until the Hot Toys version comes out. I completely agree. I think it's licensing approval that, just kind of pending. They may take some time, but they didn't want to miss out on the hype train of this movie. It's out right now and people are excited about some of these characters. And I think it looks great. I'm a little not too sure about the hair. I think it's a little too gold and, I think it needs a little more highlighting in it, but they're on the right track. Like, I think the cape and everything, the outfit, the effects, all that looks great. So this is one I'm definitely going to be adding to the collection. You know, even though we can't see what she looks like, the only thing that frustrates me a little bit, and I know it's, you know, it's very obvious, but you know, how is it that we're still waiting for that Padme Amidala figure after all this time? And you know, we're getting this Mighty Thor version first, but if, you know, I want both of them, obviously, but yeah, I'm super excited about this figure.
Well, Victoria, you have to wonder, and I've been talking about it for a few weeks, if we're going to have 2 Natalie Portman figures up on pre-order at the same time. And I believe we will. When we do get that second wave of thrills with Attack of the Clones, and Lane, it makes sense to me now that we didn't get the wave of Attack of the Clones yet, because they wanted to do this wave. But if I was a betting man, Lane, I say the next wave is going to be that Attack of the Clones, which they promised, because they got to get that out. But give me your impressions on this. I kind of agree with Victoria. I think the hair looks fantastic, but I kind of agree. I feel like the first impression I had, which is why Victoria's comments rigging with me here, it seemed a little too gold. But give me your opinion on this figure.
Well, I think it looks great. I love the helmet and everything. I actually really like the special edition bonus, if that's something you're considering. So, you know, because there's a time frame for that one, you have to do it here in. I like kind of the partially shattered helmet. I think that's a nice add-on for, you know, the same price if you buy it, that or just a regular one. My concern with the hair, and this is sometimes so true for any of these figures that have a lot of thick hair or sculpted hair, is how much movement the head's going to have necessarily. The restrictions just that having sculpted hair can have. But I always prefer sculpted hair over rooted hair, you know, 9 times out of 10, unless it's, I don't know, a J&D statue that you're spending $2,000 on. Then rooted hair, that might be a nice thing. But I think it looks great. They definitely got the guns on the arms there and everything that she has in the movie. I actually really like the bonus item, you know, the other Mjolnir that can kind of split into pieces and act almost more like a whip style thing that they have with that extra weapon piece and stuff. I think it's a good figure. I think the only problem for it is what came out here at the same time, because this one feels like it could have just been a regular release, you know, announced in a couple of weeks and be well received. But I think by some of the other announcements for Summer Showcase, I think it's going to I still think it's going to sell well because it's the first Natalie Portman we've got.
Oh, yeah, it's actually doing very, very well, Lane, right now. We're going to get into that once we get to the last of them. But yeah, I agree. I think it'll sell well. I
think, though, it might get a little buried where if it had its own time frame where it was a central thing that it could do. But that's just because of what else has come around, like what we're going to talk about later. Yeah, and in fairness to that, and her, I think even some of your biggest characters after like 6-8 weeks, sometimes they wind up getting buried. So many new announcements, and they got other, you know what I mean? It's almost like, hey, it's like you got the whole Infinity War, Endgame, you got the whole, you know, kip and caboodle all up at once. It could kind of get lost in there. But good thoughts there, Lane. And Desy, I'm going to give you the final word on this one before we get the next one. Let's go ahead and actually look at some of the comments that are up over here. We got the big dog hound in the house. So I got to do this. Woo! There you go, my man. Let me know what table you're at tonight. And a wife of 808 Michigan Jedi, Victoria, she agrees with you. Come on, Hot Toys. Natalie Portman as Padme is long overdue. Yes.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Concur. I concur with that.
Insane says, I am sure this figure will make some people very happy. Oh, yeah, absolutely. You heard that Victoria is getting this. Are you getting this, Lane and Desy, or are you thinking about it?
I'm not going to get this, only because I've really slowed down on Marvel significantly. So, but I mean, that's not because it's a bad figure. You know, I've got like a little bit of nitpicks, but overall, like I said, it's a great design. I'm just not picking it up.
Yeah, I'm going to pass because I liked Love and Thunder, but I didn't love Love and Thunder, the movie itself. But it's it's a good release. I mean, I'm glad we're finally getting Natalie Portman, and we got to finally see this is a rendition of the character. I think finally realized some of the potential from the earlier movies.
Well, we've got 103 in here. You are watching Hot Toys Talk live. Make sure that you hit that like button, and I'll make sure I keep serving you up. And don't forget to also subscribe to 6 Scale Cantina if this is the first time you're watching. Subscribe and like. Use 2 fingers. Do it both at the same time. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Victoria's Cantina, Desy, Metamorphic Customs. Link in the video description below. Lane, he's selling tickets to go see his museum on Tatooine. Go ahead and send him a message about that. Desy, I'm going to give you the final word on this one. Were you surprised that this came out?
No,
and your final thoughts.
No, absolutely not. And one thing I'll say about this is, out of all the Marvel figures, specifically the female figures, this is probably one of the most toyetic ones, right? In my opinion, the design, it really reminds me of like growing up She-Ra, right? Some kind of figure like that. So it's a pretty cool figure. I'm glad they released it. Natalie Portman's a great actress, so I can't wait to see the final portrait. And overall, it's a cool figure. Unfortunately, I can't pick it up, but I'm glad they released it. So far, they've done a good job with it. Can't wait to see the final production pictures.
Absolutely. Again, don't forget to smash that like button. We're going to go ahead and go to the next figure I want to talk about here. That was number 1 in the 5-figure release last week, Wave of Thrills. They did 1 24 hours earlier. Of course, that was the DX28 Darth Vader. And then 4, baby, the very, very next night. And you get a lot of these with the Sideshow exclusive special release with limited time release dates. Desy, I'm going to stick with you. And we are going to go to this one first, but not before we go ahead and fill up the big dog pound, who is at table 66, the most dangerous table at 6 Scale Cantina. And he dares to sit with the guy who had Pennywise bow to him.
That's still my favorite. That is still my favorite.
Still my favorite as well. I think I agree with you there for sure. And Big Dog Pound, you dropped the bomb on me with the $2 super chat. I'll drop it back at you, baby. Thank you so much, my friend. Desy.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's take a look at this and your thoughts. And with this base, and I'm going to try and bring this up so we can see it a little bit clearer here. What do you think about this? Let me bring up some of the pictures here. That looks sick. Give me your thoughts on this friendly neighborhood Spider-Man 1/6 scale with the Sandman base, which I think looks pretty freaking awesome. But go.
It does. Look, so first the figure. I think the figure is great. It's finally, if you wanted a Toby McGuire Spider-Man 1/6 scale, and you didn't get it the first time around, this is a nice update. I think it looks good. The materials look good. Yes, you've got those creases when you pose the toy, but hey, it's 1/6 and fabric. What can you do, right? Overall, it's a great figure. The head sculpt, I think it's 97, 98% there. It looks like Toby McGuire to me. It's not perfect, but it's good, in my opinion. Overall, again, the figure looks great. And then the diorama base. How much is the diorama base? In addition, like $140, $145. That thing is huge for a full production, plastic injection, finely detailed base. Excellent price. Not bad at all when you think about it. And it looks amazing. And especially with the, what is it? The special edition, it comes with the Doc Ock tentacle, even better. This is an awesome packaged presentation release. I love it.
And talk to me a little bit more from an artist perspective, because I've heard different people's opinion on this head sculpt. As soon as I saw this head sculpt, Desy, I was thinking, oh, that's Toby from No Way Home. That's the older version. I think it looks great, but give me your impressions on it dissect that a little more.
This is good for me. As soon as I think I thought the same thing as you, Aries, when I saw this one. And it's always funny how everybody's brain, if you will, interprets what they're seeing differently. Some people look like us will look at this and say that, yeah, that's Toby. And others will look at this and say, who's that? Like, it's just, and we're looking at the same picture. To me, this looks good. It looks like Toby. I understand why some people say, hey, it's not completely there. I'm actually saying it's not completely there either, but it is so close to me. And on the shelf, I think that from, 2 feet away, it's going to be undeniable that that's Toby McGuire. And it looks like the older version of Toby from this movie. So I like it. What can I say? Well
Victoria, go ahead. Oh,
Yeah, I like it too. It's cool.
Yeah, are you surprised, Victoria, that they gave us Toby McGuire from this No Way Home? I think that the movie's epic. And one of the calls I made very, very early on is that we were going to get not only the Andrew Garfield, and even though they just came out with that other one, I still think we're going to get it. We're going to get the Toby, McGuire. I thought we were going to get all of the villains. I think we have almost. We're waiting for a couple more. I guess, if you want to count Sandman and the base here, we'll see if they come out with the lizard figure for this. But are you surprised that they did this?
Not really. I'm surprised that other companies like Hasbro haven't done them yet, not unmasked versions. But I'm happy to see that Hot Toys is pursuing them, because I know there's a lot of, pent up love and adoration for these portrayals of Spider-Man. And, seeing them in this last film was, like you said, it was epic. And yeah, it looks good. It looks good. I know from what I've been reading, a lot of people, Spider-Man fans are really stoked for this release, and the fact that it does have the unmasked portrait, and it looks good. It looks good. I don't know that I'm personally going to get it, but I think they did a great job, and I'm happy to see more. I hope they do more as well, and not just like base figures like Lizard, which is cool, but it would be cool if they did the actual figure as well.
Well, you know what? And Metamorphic Customs goes, Fabio, what's up, my friend? And Fabio with the LOL. Well, listen, Victoria, if you wind up passing on it, I'm sure Fabio's going to get 3 of these, and he'll probably hook you up with one of them.
Probably.
All right. Lane. Give me your impressions on this Toby McGuire. We got to see the head sculpt here with this release, part of this wave of 5 that they put out. I think it looks doggone good, to be honest with you, Lane. But go ahead, quickly, give me your thoughts.
I really love this figure. This was the one I was waiting for. This is the one Spider-Man item I will probably end up getting from No Way Home. However, if I pick him up, I'm going to probably just get the regular edition because I just want him. I'm going to pass on the base and stuff. The price point is a little bit more than I want to necessarily spend on a Spider-Man figure, because it's like $445. I think the facial sculpt is very close there, but I do think he looks a little bit young in comparison to how he looked actually in No Way Home. But this is a prototype, so I always expected that to be. And I just mean he looks a little bit young, and I'm not even complaining about it.
So Lane. This deluxe version, exclusive or regular, $445. The collector edition, $300. So what do you think about the price? Let's go to the deluxe version first. Give me your impressions on the price of this figure with everything you do get. Now, you get the awesome base, the deluxe version exclusive Sandman diorama base. I think that's all you get, but I'll be honest with you. I think it's a pretty epic base. Do you have a problem with it for those that want to get the base with it being $445?
Well, I mean, it's comparable to the No Way Home Holland Spider-Man, because the one with the base for that is $425. So they're within $20 of each other. And one was announced 8 months ago. So I think it's huge. I think this base looks like it's bigger, I think, than that one, because it's so wide and stuff. It's a huge improvement off the original Sandman base, where he was like, come back here and give me my newspaper, you spider delivery boy. The pose that he was in and stuff in the original. But I think it's a fantastic figure. It's the one I'm most excited for of all of them. it's the price pointing for 445. It's hard for me to spend 500. It's an Iron Man figure pricing at this point, and it's hard for me to want to spend that much on a hot toy.
But you're fine with it being 300 on the regular.
Well, I think we're at the. Unfortunately, I think we're, at least for Marvel right now, we're at the tipping point. It's going to be $300 for a head sculpt figure, whether we like it or not. I mean, Moon Knight, which wasn't announced that long ago, doesn't have a facial sculpt with it, and it was $285. So I don't love it.
Yep.
But
so let's go to Desy with this. Desy, this being 300. Your thoughts on this being 300? I think it's pretty darn awesome with everything you get, and you do get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pairs of hands. You get all the rope accessories. You get those other accessories as well. I love the suit on this. I don't got a problem with an extra $140, $145 with that base. Looks sick. But give me your thoughts on the price.
Look, honestly, I think it's if you're picking at straws here, it's about $15 too expensive. I know Moon Knight was $285. That doesn't really have a face sculpt. That said, this is where we are. What can we say? It's a little too expensive, but that's the catchphrase for Hot Toys, right? It is what it is. I don't have a problem for the extra $145 for the base, though. But this at $300, a little too expensive. But I'm not going to. It's not $50.
Desy, staying with you real quick. The Obi-Wan Deluxe. It's a DX. The Obi-Wan DX.
Yep.
Is $5 cheaper than
That's
this.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's a little bit weird, don't you think? Because I think you get way more with that figure.
It's kind of all over the place, and not too wide, but it's you've got to figure like even Vader, which we'll get to. We've got Obi-Wan, right, with a head sculpt, a couple a little bit more accessories, and then this is 300. I'm not sure where we are with this. I'm not seeing like, oh, it's in the tooling, oh, it's in the fabric, oh, it's in the heads. I'm not seeing any of that. I have to assume it's some kind of licensing thing. I don't think they're going to charge you extra for McGuire Spider-Man because he's so popular versus Obi-Wan, because he's not, like, that doesn't make sense to me, especially Vader, and we'll get to that. I think it's a little too expensive.
Toby tax.
Yeah, Toby tax.
It's got to be a licensing thing, I don't know. Toby McGuire, I don't know what it is, but.
Okay. Victoria, your impression on the price here. I think it's interesting that you could get the Obi-Wan Deluxe that just, the DX that just came out. I think the Vader, we're going to get to that one at the end of this wave, is fantastically priced. I actually can't believe how low it is. I'm a little surprised that this is actually $300. I think they kind of put the 15 in here, but I don't have a problem at all with the diorama, the base, the diorama base. I think is awesome. What are your thoughts on the price?
It's a little high, but like Desy was saying, that's where we are with pricing, and everything's going up. Other toy lines have jumped quite a bit. Marvel Legends and Black Series have gone up $5 to $7. Vintage Collection's gone up, good $3 to $4. So it's not surprising that this is where we're at with something like this, but it does seem a little high. It does seem a little higher than I would expect personally, considering that it's just regular with what it has. But I don't think this is going to be something that goes away anytime soon. I think prices are going to they're going to keep going up, unfortunately.
Victoria, real quick, because they have gone up. How much is it now for one retail price? Like you go into Walmart, you go into Target, you get it at Dorkside Toys, whatever, for a vintage collection 3 3/4 inch figure and just a regular, not exclusive, 6-inch Black Series figure.
It varies slightly retailer to retailer, but MSRP on Vintage Collection right now is $14.99.
Wow, $15 for a 3 3/4. Back in the day, there used to be. Well, anyway, I'm not going to say back in 1977. How about the Black Series?
See, I only got him for like Christmas and stuff, and I was like 4 or 5 years old, so I didn't actually know what anybody was spending. So I get claim ignorance in this.
Yeah, absolutely. And late, I think you cut off. I don't know if you could hear me.
I just was going to say, I think it has to do a little bit why he's a little bit more expensive for that one. Because I'm going to guess probably the Garfield will be same price, is maybe because of it's Spider-Man.
Well,
because there's with Sony and also Marvel as part.
How do you explain this Mighty Thor, though? I mean, what does this come with that makes this 305? Are you good with this at 305?
I think she should be a 285, 290 figure because she doesn't come with more than Vader. It's a little bit hard because we're comparing two different licenses. But I mean,
They've still been they've been comparable for a while, right? Right, Desy?
Yeah, it's just very strange to me. Like 300, 305 here. It almost makes me seem like I agree with Lane that when the Andrew Spider-Man comes out, it's probably going to be the same. So I'm thinking, again, did McGuire and Andrew have to come back, sign some kind of license, and then they demanded a little bit more, I don't know, a couple royalties. Is that it? But then we have this one. Did Natalie Portman do the same? I don't know what's going on here.
And did Hayden not? Because for 25 extra bucks, you get the deluxe DX Darth Vader.
Yeah,
well,
I'm confused.
Come on,
come on. He may have had some better movies, but it's not like we can say Toby McGuire exactly has been like Tom Hanks rolling hits out since the Spider-Man movie. You know, he's done a few in here, but he hasn't done almost any movies and maybe some minor ones and stuff, but like a major movie or something in like 10 years or more. So, I mean, he obviously, I would say, probably has accomplished a little bit more than Hayden has, but they both haven't had a major hit like in the last decade or something. So I can't imagine Toby could go, well, I want, an extra $2 million or something for you to lose my likeness, where Hayden said, for $1 million, I don't think that they've had that much necessarily.
Yeah. RoboCop Victoria. I was pleasantly surprised. I loved Peter Weller. I don't think we get the full head sculpt of him here, but I love all of his work. But we're getting RoboCop. I know we were talking about that backstage, but
well, we're not going to get his because he wasn't RoboCop in RoboCop 3.
Oh, that's right, because this is RoboCop 3. I keep forgetting on that. Yes, but Victoria, what do you think about this?
Looks cool. I was not expecting this to be something that was going to be announced like just randomly in July, but it's cool. I'm not a big RoboCop person myself, but I do appreciate the films, and I appreciate a nice figure when I see one. And this certainly looks like a nice figure. It's got a lot of detail, and just like the sheen that they've captured on the actual costume looks really cool. Like it just kind of has that balance of not being too overly metallic and not being plasticky. Which is kind of a hard thing to do because it's easy to make things look really glossy and like flashy and metal-like, but this they reined it in a little bit, and I feel like it looks a little bit better for it. So it's a really cool figure, surprising release, but definitely looks cool.
Yeah, very, very surprising. Desy, you were talking about some stuff backstage. I'm going to let you take that and continue with that. Give me your thoughts on this release and why you think now.
I don't know if it's because they're going to lose a license again. I think I've take a shot every time you hear me say license. But I don't know if this because they were, hey, we're going to lose the RoboCop license. Peter Weller is a little too expensive, but you know what we could do? Let's re-release the RoboCop 3 because this is not exactly a 2.0, right? It's kind of a reissue, but they've clearly, at least in these pictures, upgraded the paint applications. Right, the paint applications in the mouth, the faceplate seem better. On the jetpack, there's some weathering that weren't there in the original, as far as I can tell, back in 2007, if I'm not mistaken. Some of the sheens on the armor, like the black, looks really glossy in this RoboCop 3 version, which I don't think it was on the last one. Again, I don't have it, but so they've clearly made some updates here. So why would they release this now? Like, to me, this seems and out of all of them, part 3. It's kind of seems like hey, we've got the tool already. We're going to lose a license. Re-release this one. It's easy. Get it done. Let's go.
I think you're absolutely spot on with the license thing with this. It makes complete sense to me. And like you said, Peter Weller may be a little bit too expensive. They have this one. I think you probably have hit this right on the head there, Desy, as well. Before we get to Lane, Mandalorian Huntress, another Cantina insider who is in the house, and we all know what table the Huntress sits at. So let's go ahead and fill up the most dangerous table at 6 scale Cantina again.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, I like RoboCop. If I ever like see it on TV or late, I'm like watching something, and then all of a sudden I wake up. It's 2:30 in the morning. I see RoboCop on. I'm gonna finish the movie. I love all of them. This is pretty cool. But your thoughts on this?
Sorry,
And
I
late,
was after looking at this guy. I was literally about to doing my pre-order on Sideshow right now.
you're feigning. You're spilling your coffee.
Yeah, no, I was literally trying to put in my pre-order for this on Sideshow, and Sideshow keeps trying to apply a $232 gift card that I have towards it, and I'm like, how do I take this off? Because
So
I'm going for this.
is it possible then that you're actually getting this? So you're
Oh
saying,
yeah,
yes.
I am getting it. Yeah, I want the I guess I'm gonna have to figure out to do that before I could say I was enabled on here and then blame you. But I love that. I love this figure. Like, I am absolutely in love with this figure. It is for the absolute worst RoboCop movie. Like, if you pull up Aries, if you pull up the picture where it shows him like going through the window, kind of OCP with the jetpack attack.
I liked RoboCop 3, but
Yeah.
this was cool. Yeah, but
No, but the one that shows it looked like he's kind of flying in, because that's taken from the scene in the movie.
here?
Where
Not that one.
he's no, where he's coming through like looks like the pane glass with the jetpack on. I think that's when there was a little bit, but yeah, this one. See, the thing is, that looks better than the scene in the movie when he does that, because you can literally see
Well,
like
when
the
did they make
cords
this
that were
movie?
holding it. 92 or so, 91, 92, I think. It was on the shelf for like 2 or 3 years. But you can see the cables when he comes scratching through.
You can't see the cables here, baby.
No, that's what I mean. This looks better than that. What this is funny as me is all the goofy stuff they added for RoboCop, the jetpack, the extra like machine gun, hand arm replacement, all those things. This proves to me how that movie was terrible and added, and even some of these were maybe a little bit goofy, but they were absolute best thing for an action figure. RoboCop 3's version of him is going to be the best action figure because it's got all the cool stuff that you want to stick on in that figure. And I love this bonus. Like, this was the tipping point.
Yeah.
The battle
bonus
damage
is cool.
guts.
And you got
You can put
15
on.
days left. Victoria,
Yeah.
I don't got a problem at $375 for a die cast. This is part of their die cast series for a RoboCop. If you want to buy a RoboCop figure, you've been waiting for a new RoboCop figure, and this got sprung on us out of nowhere in this crazy wave. Die cast, $375, RoboCop, what it comes with. I think it's good.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I did want to highlight a point that Dorklair made in the comments, saying that sometimes pricing could be tied into production run size. So if they're making less of a certain figure, sometimes the price will be a little higher to make up for that. And I don't know that that's the case for Spider-Man or RoboCop or for any of these specifically, but it is something that does occur with different toy lines.
No, that's a great point. And Dorklair, I think I found that, says up in here, I wonder if anticipated production size plays into prices a bit. No, thank you for bringing that up, Victoria. And I agree. Smaller production, higher price, perhaps, depending on how many times, Desy. I think that's a great point, and I say yes. But I also think it's how many times you plan on using the mold. So, for instance, you see like with Star Wars, some of the reuses of molds. But why is the price so low? But because they probably plan on using that quite a bit more often, which I think this further validates your point, because they're probably like, hey, this is going to run out. Let's go ahead and use this, but they're probably not going to use it again. So that could be the reason why, Desy.
Yeah. It's also probably because the tool for this particular figure was amortized over all the pieces that were produced the first time back in 2007. So you don't have to worry about including that mold cost into the individual unit price of every figure this time. So maybe that goes back to what we were talking about too, about, you know, Toby McGuire and the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man versus the Jane, or should I say She-Thor. Maybe that's why. Maybe they predict that those figures are going to be small runs compared to something like a Vader, which is going to be a large run, and that's why they're priced a little higher, perhaps. And that affects this as well. It's, hey, they already covered the tooling for this in the last run. Now it's just producing the cost of producing the figure and a little bit of licensing. So there you go.
We got 117 in here. Let's go ahead and smash that like button right now. And if this is the first time you're watching, go ahead and subscribe. And I want to welcome the bots that were in here, but I think the bots have all been destroyed because my admins and mods, they blew them up, baby. And that's what happens when the bots come on in. A good point there, Dork Lair. Absolute craziness. Let's go to the next one. Desy, I'm going to go ahead and stick with you. And we're going to talk about Iron Man Mark III now. Goodness. I mean, it's just been absolutely crazy as I go ahead and get to that figure. So first, I just want to ask you before I get to the figure, surprised on it being with the wave or not really, the Iron Man Mark III?
It came a little earlier than I thought it would. Right? I'm not surprised that they're coming out with a 2.0. It came a little earlier than I thought it would, but not surprised at all in general, right? This is I think that this one doesn't come with a USB powered light up, which is a little disappointing. I'll say that if that is true, but otherwise this is a true 2.0. There's no way, you know, a lot of people were saying, well, they've hit Iron Man Mark 85, so that's it. They lost their moneymaker. And it's like, come on, guys, really? They'll just start from the beginning again. And that's
here you go.
You know, they'll just keep increasing and making it better. And this is good. Look, the paint colors are better. The proportions are better. The articulation is better. Everything is better. And they'll throw in that awesome diorama base.
$455, Desy?
Not bad. It's expensive. It's going to be a $500 figure once you figure taxes and shipping and all that. But it's not really out of line with die-cast Iron Man figures.
I don't think so either.
You're getting that base.
And you're getting that base. Quickly, Lane, on this one, before we go into the last one here, $455. I agree with Desy on that. And are you getting this?
No, I think this looks really cool. I will not be getting it. I am waiting for the Mark V reissue, and that will be my Iron Man that I have for my collection because I have a code, 10% off code that I am waiting to use. I'm just like, switch over from pre-order, baby. Well, that is the Scout Trooper. I need that one to switch over to. I'm like, get in stock, guys. Let's go faster, faster. I think this looks amazing, though. This is a great Iron Man armor. But I prefer like Mark V, Mark 7, probably even the Mark 6 over the Mark 3. I do love that base, though, with like Ironmonger pumping out of the ground. The special edition bonus, I'm kind of the crushed helmet from Ironmonger. That's kind of cool, I guess. But this isn't something, if if you're asking me putting my feet to the fire, is this one I should pre-order now to make sure I get the special bonus? I would say, probably not.
Yeah, I kind of get that. But I think for some collectors, Victoria, I think it goes both ways. Some are like laying ass. Some would be like, oh, look, we get the extra helmet. But $455, you get Robert Downey Jr.'s head sculpt. You get the other helmet. You get all this stuff, all this die cast, this base. $455. But look, it's a 2.0 of the Iron Man Mark III. I kind of agree with Desy. I think it came a little earlier than I thought, but I think like they say in Battlestar Galactica, the reimagined series, it all happened before and it's all going to happen again. So here we go.
Yeah, it looks really cool. There's a lot here.
A lot.
Yeah, lots there. Not saying from my collection, but I certainly, like I said earlier, appreciate, a good toy when I see one. And, I'm sure there's going to be one of those centerpieces, especially if you're like a Marvel collector, even if you're just doing like one Iron Man like this, if you were to go in on this one, with all that it has and all the fact that it is like one of the more recent releases, so it's the most updated, definitely a centerpiece for anybody that purchases it.
Yeah, we got 125 watching it here. Let's go ahead and get those likes up here at 6 Scale Cantina. You are watching Hot Toys Talk. You are watching our show on Saturdays back at 6 p.m. Eastern every Saturday. We started it last week, back where the first live show with 6 Scale Cantina began. And here we are, same time, same station. We have got Victoria in the house, Victoria's Cantina. You just heard from her. We have got Lane from Planet Tatooine, and we have got Desy from Metamorphic Customs. And we are going over the very first topic still of the show, which is Hot Toys End of July, Wave of Thrills. And now we're going to the last and final figure in this Wave of Thrills. And look at Lookie here, guys. Victoria, staying with you. Darth Vader, #1 out of everything that has dropped it here. And I got to make sure I tack on Marvel and Robocop and all those again. And here we go. But you know what? I'm not surprised where Star Wars is right now as a franchise, where Star Wars is globally, even in Asia with Grogu and Mando, particularly now, reinvigorating the franchise there. You see Obi-Wan, which I think came out a few weeks before all these figures. And I thought that this Vader was going to go ahead and make that one even stronger, as if it even needed to. But even Hot Toys themselves, with all this stuff, they kept Darth Vader as their primary banner. And I think we know why. Girl, are you surprised that this is up here at #1?
Not at all. There's a lot of people that have jumped on the Hot Toys bandwagon over the last couple of years, last year, and a lot of them missed out on the 40th anniversary Vader. So this is their opportunity to get a Vader in their collection. And it's also riding on the hype wave of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. And, that magnificent fight between Obi-Wan and Vader. And what we got to glimpse through that helmet in that last episode. So I'm not surprised. It's a great looking piece. A lot of us have Vaders already, but I think even if you have all the Vaders so far, I don't have all of them, but even if you did, it's going to be hard to say no to something like this that actually gives you a reveal of Anakin's face inside it. It's pretty epic. And like for something like this, the price difference being so small between regular and deluxe, like it's just kind of hard to not. I can't imagine that anybody would not go with the deluxe. But looking at the numbers that you were showing earlier, they're all right there at the top. Or 3 of them are right there at the top. So that is, not surprising at all. It looks fantastic. I am excited for this. It can't come soon enough. And, this alongside Obi-Wan is going to be a great little shelf to have in the DTOF or on the shelf to display. Like right there, like looks incredible.
Victoria, it's like I spilled my coffee. I spilled my coffee pots. I lost all my coffee grinds. My heart rate was up way too high all day when I saw this thing. I feel like, Victoria, this is the Vader we've been waiting for. Just to get a battle damage one like this, I understand that you could rearrange it, if you get the deluxe version, that it's not battle damage, but man, and a DX Darth Vader, first ever.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. What I'm really curious about is if they sculpted the whole head underneath that helmet, or if they only did like the left side, like you can see here. That's something I'm wondering about. But yeah, the movable eyes and everything's going to be a pretty interesting thing to play around with.
And we'll go to Desy with that. Desy, first, the overwhelming response on this from so many people, and we saw JC Hong's pictures, and I could pull them up a little bit later as we look through the regular ones here, but just going to you first. Overall impressions on this figure, go.
Excellent figure release or announcement, I should say. An excellent presentation here. The pricing is good. It's a no-brainer. You know, the damaged chest box, the damaged helmet, the slash on the back of the cape. This is perfect. I love the fact that the regular version is going to be the regular, like the broken helmet, right? And then the deluxe version, correct me if I'm wrong, is the clean helmet, right? Because by now, maybe we have a clean Vader. What we really want out of this release is that broken or damaged helmet with Hayden under that. And that's what we're getting. Plus all the lightsabers. And even the regular version comes with that Earth base. And then you opt for the deluxe, and you get the beautiful lit Death Star-ish base. So cool. Awesome. Like there's not much to nitpick here. The body proportion seems to have changed. Maybe it's just a removal of a fat suit. Maybe it's the same thing, and I don't know. I'm seeing things, but it just looks different. It poses differently. Perfect. And the sculpt, perfect.
Yeah, when you're talking about the posability, and I talked about this on my Wednesday show, the market chart show, when I went live, and a lot of people were looking for my first thoughts on this, and I gave it live. I kept away from dissecting it. I got all the there's no way in the world that this is the same body. I pulled out my 40th Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader, and you can't pose it like this. Plus, this is not David Prowse. This is a much younger Darth Vader, where some of us would age anyway. Some of us can't hold the same body shape exactly as we did when he's at his age here. He's still very, very young here. And it looks like you can't pose this with the old Vaders. So this looks like a whole new body, Desy.
It does. It does. Like I
that.
said, I don't think I could get my ESB Vader in most of these poses. And if I did, it would look awkward. The proportions look right when you're looking at the face inside the helmet. The face looks like the head is proportioned to the body. It looks like it would be Hayden in there, right? Or someone Hayden size. It doesn't look like David Prowse size. It just looks right. I mean, even from the width of the robes hanging down, how far out they go, the body looks a little slimmer. It does.
Lane, I thought Desy brought up a good point, and one that I haven't considered too deeply is Mark Attack. Another Cantina insider, thank you so much, says hit that like button. We do appreciate it, with 120 in here watching. Lane, I guess for people that have so many Darth Vaders, I think it is nice that they go ahead and they give you one where, if you don't want it and you just want the battle damage, you can. But also this Vader here, they also get you to buy the deluxe if you want one with everything here. And I love this cape. I love this. I'm getting two of these just because
there's a lot more posability to the cape with this.
Look at that, man. I mean, it's like it's if a picture paints 1,000 words, because I know that you buy statues, and statues are like paintings, and a song by Brett, I brought this up. If a picture paints 1,000 words, it's so true. That's the artistry. And the amazing thing about Hot Toys, when it's a toy, so you're supposed to be able to paint a million different ways.
Yeah.
This is freaking like look at this.
And also the fact, I mean, even when we're talking about leaving out some of the Ironmans or some of the other figures, which can get like $500, we're starting to get, unfortunately, statues are starting to get even more silly expensive now too. So in some ways, proportionally, they're still similar. I think that this Vader is fantastic. This is a Vader I am fairly certain I'm probably going to get. I'm having to right now kind of evaluate what sub shows at this point for Star Wars I'm going to get for Hot Toys, because there's so many coming, just so many figures and stuff. Like you said, we got Attack of the Clones Wave 2 that we haven't even had announced yet and stuff, so who knows. But this Vader, I especially love the price point, $330 with all that comes with it. Now, you can still argue, is it a DX like the old DX or not? But the old DX system is kind of dead at this point. We've had to acknowledge that for a little bit. But isn't he about the same price now as even like the Luke DX?
Yeah, the DX. Luke? I mean, the price is fantastic. $330 for this.
Yeah, I think it's the same price, and this is obviously like a year later. Mm-hmm. So, they could have probably hit us, even for $345 or so, probably, you know, because I mean, you think about the Bespin Link, the price difference between that and those two, the collector's edition. So I think they did I think they did it very smartly, where they kept, obviously the deluxe version a little bit more expensive, but they kept it within reasonable. That it was probably total production for the deluxe version is probably I'm gonna assume probably gonna crush the normal version, you know, in comparison to production at the end of the day. I think it's a great figure. I think all the deluxe stuff that comes with it is unique enough that if you want to get the deluxe versions, it feels like you're getting something more for your money with the deluxe version. And this is a great Vader.
But you can also, if you don't want to spend $330 and you want to go ahead and save a little money, like the Desy's point, you can, and you don't need that other helmet.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say, though, as much as I like this Vader and I love the half split, would I choose this if, you know, they're going to announce, like if we could see in clairvoyance, like the Hot Toys Wizard, they are definitely announcing a Return of the Jedi Vader with like a full, and I'm going to say it right this time because I said Sebastian Stan the other day instead of Sebastian Shaw, because I just watched The Winter Soldier the other day.
Well, they're definitely going to give you the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi is next year, and they're not going to miss out on giving you that quarter scale of this. They're going to do it.
Or why say they do? I mean, if they do a 6 scale Vader of Return of the Jedi.
Oh, they will. Yeah. That's what's going to come in that packaging. They won't give you quarter scale of that.
It's hard for me to say that because I own Rogue One Vader, so I don't need 50. I don't need 50 Vaders. I'm usually one character thing. I really like this one, but it's hard for me to say I'd get this one because Return of the Jedi Vader with that facial sculpt of Sebastian Shaw, that's like, you know, original trilogy.
Some people are going to feel that way. Some people feel that way about the Iron
older people.
Spider-Mans. They're like, oh, I got one Spider-Man, I got two, I got Iron Man. But, you know, there's a lot of Darth Vader fans as well. And I think now, Lane, they're going to go ahead and they're going to splurge into it.
Could you get Vader through the ages, basically?
Yeah, because look,
Anakin too.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, good thoughts. And going to you, Victoria, with that, because this is not, to Lane's point, the Return of the Jedi Darth Vader at all. It's kind of like, hey, you want to call that Darth Vader Mark II and then call this, you know, Mark 1.5, you know, or, you know, you got there's so many different variations of this. But are you like, it's not that I was surprised, but it was like, wow, the internet really broke with this. Remember when the Clone Wars Ahsoka was released, and before that, for Hot Toys, the Captain Rex, and then the Luke from the Mandalorian, the other Ahsoka from the Mandalorian series, certainly the Boba Fett with Tamora Morrison, that 2-pack. This just killed it. I'd never seen a figure, Victoria, go up this fast, all three versions, the way that they have it, to number one with everything out there this fast. A lot of attention. I wonder how many people from Hasbro and Black Series and vintage collection, and also just vintage Star Wars collectors, Power of the Force collectors, are going to take notice of this, Victoria.
Yeah, it's you're right. It went to the top of the charts, let's say, like really quickly. And, you know, there's a lot of people excited about it. And, you know, even people that don't traditionally collect Hot Toys that I run in circles with for other Star Wars lines are looking at this and saying, hey, you know, this is a good starting point to build on the Star Wars Hot Toys collection. This is a good opportunity to get a Darth Vader, you know, which, you know, it's Vader. It's very dynamic, you know. If you have one Hot Toys, like this could be like your one, especially if you have the deluxe and the interchangeable helmets. It's great. And I mean, I totally think they're going to, you know, do the Return of the Jedi version. I mean, that's kind of like a given to me. They could still do Revenge of the Sith version as well. I think I remember like Hot Toys had a prototype for that, I want to say, but it was like maybe the quarter scale a few years ago. So that's another possibility. I mean, you know, Vader is Vader, and Vader sells in every single, you know, toy line, every single release, every version. And Hasbro did actually already put out their Black Series and vintage collection Obi-Wan Kenobi Darth Vader figures. They don't have the awesome split helmet, but like the TVC version in particular is a landmark figure. It's totally been re-engineered from the ground up. The detail, the lightness, articulation is just incredible. anyone is curious to see what that looks like, definitely look that up, because it's on a whole other level of, for a figure that's been done as many times as Vader has in these different scales. Like it's crazy that it just gets better and better even after all this time. But I'm not surprised how successful this has been. It's an awesome piece. It looks incredible. The lightness is totally dialed in, even though you're just seeing a piece of his face. And a lot of people are really jazzed about it.
Absolutely. No, totally agree. And what you gonna do when Loco Lou comes into the show on you? What you gonna do? Loco Lou, what you gonna do with this Vader? Man, oh man, good to have Loco Lou in here. And the single songwriters in the house. What is up? My good friend, single songwriter, going ahead and blowing up the bots just like. All right, come on, Desy. Going back to you with this head sculpt here. Dude, this is, tell me if I'm exaggerating, but I called this, and Fabio called it as well, a masterpiece. And I looked at JC Hong's pictures too, that were, people sent me them. This is just unbelievable, dude.
I have to agree. Think about it this way. If you're looking at the face sculpt, I'm just looking at the face sculpt, how would you possibly make that better?
I don't know.
Like there's
make it real flesh and have it come alive, I guess.
Yeah. Like that's the only way. Like make it like silicone. Like do you really need that here? Like no, not in my opinion. At this scale, this looks amazing. I know we're looking at a prototype, but one thing about these heavily detailed face sculpts with all the sculpting and the texture of the burnt face and the burnt details, that will be able to be carried over to production. No fears on that from me. I'm pretty sure the production version will look exactly like this. It looks amazing.
So listen, I got to ask you this, Desy, because I brought this up from your artist perspective. And you look at this here. It has rolling eyes. And I talk a lot about how Hot Toys is able to not just how, I've seen some wax museum stuff, some great things that kind of have a dead stare. You look at this right here, and he looks like he's in trouble. The facial expression looks like he's in trouble. It looks like, okay, you're about to get him down. I mean, you look at that. And then you go to the very next picture, just being able to move the eyes slightly in the head. And it's kind of like an MMA fight. Yeah, I got beat up. I'm kind of bruised. But you know what? So are you. It's round 3, and I'm going to kick your ass. That's amazing artistry to be able to go from one mood to another with the same damn figure, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of a few things that we were talking about before. The posability, right? With the fact that you can move the eye, right? It is the body language. You pose the body in a certain way, and you can do that apparently with this version, right? Much easier than you can with something like the ESP Vader. And the fact that you have one eye that can really give you that facial expression, that can communicate that. It depends how you, in what position you put that eye and how you pose the body, you can communicate so many different feelings and expressions there. So, yeah, perfect.
Absolutely, absolutely. We got 125 in here. Did you smash the like button yet, baby? You are watching 6 Scale Cantina's Hot Toys Talk here on Saturday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern. We have got Desy from Metamorphic Customs in the house. Link to his channel in the video description. Make sure you just subscribe to this guy. He does amazing work. And why we're all asking so many questions on artistry here. Good to have Desy in here. We've got Victoria from Victoria's Cantina, another cantina the Dark Jedi loves to frequent and loves to go ahead and have some food and have some drink. I've also got the link to Victoria's Cantina in the video description as well. Lane, let's go to the price point with this particular figure here. That is absolutely killing it. $330, and you get this deluxe. And I tell you what, you get a whole lot, Lane, with the deluxe. You get the helmet. You get the interchangeable chest plate, which is freaking money. You get that LED light up figure base, my friend, which I was pointing out from the pictures at San Diego Comic-Con. If you remember, I was saying Is it possible because that base looks so weird that it probably means it's going to be a DX? Absolutely crazy. But $330 for all this and roll the guys function. This is freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah, no, I think the pricing point for this is perfect. This because he was already a unique Vader automatically just with the base version of him. I mean, what we have for Star Wars DX recent stuff, I mean, is it less than came with Bespin Luke? And that one's $60 difference in price, or $50, something like that in difference. I think this is cheaper than the DX Luke, actually, by a little bit. I think the price point's perfect for this. I think it's going to help this figure sell a lot. It's just because, at the end of the day, we're creatures where we look at comparable prices of stuff that's recently announced. Recently, it doesn't matter what they're for or what license or anything. We don't pay attention. A lot of times we pay attention to what is the price, what comes with the price I'm paying for. What you're paying for some of these recent Summer Showcase figures is you're looking at deluxe of that, the Toby Spiderman is over 400 and almost $450. You're looking at this Vader, it's $330. Whatever one might be other. Sometimes it's going to come down to the dollar.
It's a great deal, $330 for a
DX.
you're
going to if you got to choose one or the other, you're probably going to go for the one that's a little bit less because you're like, well, there's $115 that I could have for a different figure, or I can get the cheaper version of Toby instead because if I just need the Toby McGuire or whatever, So I think that price point is going to help this figure sell a lot. The DX version of it, the deluxe version of it.
Well, we got 130 in here now. Please go ahead and smash that like button, the Dark Jedi, and the Hot Toys Wizard, wherever he or she or it may be, also appreciates your support. Single Songwriter says 127 watching, now 130, 84 likes. We must reach 100 likes for Hot Toys to take notice. Absolutely. And let's go ahead and fill up the Single Songwriter who is sitting at table 2 with this guy.
This is the way.
Man, has he changed things for sure. The Mandalorian and Fab's figures say the same thing in here. Fabio, who called a lot of these very eerily on this DX release, that if it was, that it would have everything in here, including a cape that was wired. So another big call out to Fabio, great supporter that's in here. Man, this release is absolutely incredible. Desy, final thoughts on this before we move on to the other news with this. $330. How do you think this is going to sell? And your final thoughts on Vader.
It's Vader. It's going to sell. Will it be in stock for a little bit? Yeah, it usually is. But it's going to sell. Look, this is the one that everybody's been wanting. The one that's hot. The one with the damaged Vader with Christian, specifically Hayden's face under it. This is going to sell. And if you're looking for multiple Vaders, you're either buying 2 of these or one of this and one ESP and one of the eventual Return of the Jedi's 1/6 figures, right? And you have a wonderful collection display of Vaders. This one is going to sell.
It's absolutely going to sell. And again, just going ahead and showing how this is breaking the internet. All these figures really getting so much attention and breaking the internet all in their own right. But I'm telling you right now, and that Vader is feeding the Obi-Wan Kenobi DX as well. And you have to wonder, are we just getting started with the Obi-Wan series? Fabio and I are going to talk about that on the big show upcoming this Monday night at 8:30 p.m. So you definitely want to look.
Don't forget that Obi-Wan. If you want the special edition of that one, you have to pre-order it this weekend. I think after tomorrow, it's going to go away.
Yeah, let's pull that up real quick. I think the Libido has the orange thing there. Yeah, it only has like 1 hour, 1 day, 17 hours and 36 minutes left.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I thought it was like this weekend was it, so I thought we should point that out. Like if this is one you're considering and you want those extra items, yeah.
Honestly, out of all the things, I feel like this is out of all the releases, although I do think the Iron Man extra helmet is pretty cool for some people, but this box with the lightsaber is pretty cool, dude. With Anakin's hilt. That's a pretty good. I think that's one of the best special edition bonuses. Personally. That is pretty cool.
That could make a big difference on the secondary market, one of your main things down the road, years from now.
Well, that's what we're going to get into. I said I had some breaking historic market news.
Oh, right.
And I'm pulling up 6scalecantina.com as we go ahead and get now to the next topic, breaking news, historic market milestone. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, for everyone that's watching, this has nothing to do with a 2-pack, but it has everything to do with Darth Vader that we're just talking about here in that wave, the last figure that we just spoke of. And I'm bringing this up onto the screen. And if you don't have 6scalecantina.com bookmarked, you may want to consider doing so. It has all the latest news, not only at 6scale Cantina, but everything going on in Hot Toys and everything in the secondary market, all the prices, all the trends, if they're up, if they're down, and what the secondary market price is. You can see the banner for this show right here. And, just going to the biggest movers section in here, ladies and gentlemen, as we go down past the latest news. You see some items in the biggest movers section. And I'm blocking Victoria there. This will help me not do that. There we go. Switching it there. And you see Victoria on the screen. I'm going to go to you first. I'm going to talk about this. You see that, very, very interesting. You've got Darkside Anakin, #1 biggest mover this week. The Arena Suit Boba Fett, animated Boba Fett. As I move this banner out of the way, you can see beneath it, Emperor Palpatine, Rey and Dio, Anakin again. It is absolutely crazy right now when you go through this list. But I'm going to go ahead and go to the market value chart here, Victoria. And I'm going to show you something that has never happened before with Star Wars Hot Toys. And when you go to the market value chart, ladies and gentlemen, droids and troopers, all of you that are in here, go ahead and click on that arrow in the current value column a couple times, so you get the highest ranked figures to the lowest ranked figures. The #1 selling best figure is not a 2-pack. It's over Hodded Chewbacca. It's over Targeted Vader. It is over the Snow Troopers Battlefront. Darkside Anakin is $1,106, Victoria, and rising for a single Hot Toy figure. I have never seen this before. Your thoughts on Darkside Anakin right now, hitting not only the $1,000 tier range, but the $1,100 tier range.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I think back to a few years ago when these were in stock on Sideshow's website, and they sat there for a long time before anybody took notice. And this is kind of this is the thing that I see, a lot of the time with collectors is, while something's there, it's like, okay, it's there, but then it sells out, and then everybody goes into panic mode. But like, to see this gradually do that on a different level and continue to go up and up and up and up and up is such an interesting thing. It was a convention exclusive, but it did sit on their website for quite some time. And I know there is a lot of love right now for these characters. There's a lot of love for Obi-Wan. There's a lot of love for Anakin. And so, I mean, it still surprises me a little, just given what those numbers look like. But just looking at the top few that you showed a moment ago, Vader, Palpatine, Rey, I mean, all those, they're kind of all in that same tier of like, main characters, but also characters that tie into that same sort of dark side story. So I think if anything, that tells Hot Toys they need to make more Darksiders and put a little more, make more versions of them too. I mean, there's more Anakins that can be done. There's more versions of Palpatine that can be done. I know you've talked about Darkseid Rey quite a bit, so yeah, that's a high number, and I don't know that they ever re-release that, but certainly it is a good candidate to be reissued at some point, given those numbers.
Well, we're certainly going to talk about that, Victoria. But here's the breaking news here. Darkseid Anakin has not only breached the $1,000 tier range, but has breached the $1,100 tier range and is pulled ahead of these 2-packs. And that is never before done in Star Wars for Hot Toys. And I got a very special guest who's joined us with the panel as well. And we have got MRC, Mr. Collection Ventures. What's up, my friend? Welcome.
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry.
Good to have you in here, my friend.
My camera, so sorry.
No, that good to have you in here. We've been talking about all the crazy releases. Last week, it was a wave of, we went over the Spiderman, we went over the Robocop, we went over the Iron Man Mark III, we went over Mighty Thor, and then we just went to the Darth Vader figure, the DX28 there, MRC. But listen, how much does this? I just released this breaking news, and I'm going to get your thoughts on that.
Crazy.
How much does this figure here, this DX28, because the series itself, the Obi-Wan series, was making the Darkseid Anakin go insane. How much do you think that this figure is making this Darkseid Anakin go up? Do you think it has anything to do with it?
Yeah, I mean, this price, I mean, it's crazy. But I have that Dark Anakin. I mean, like, I haven't opened it. I bought that like I think around like 5 years ago, the day it was released. But I haven't opened it until now. I said I'm gonna unbox this one. Until now, I haven't opened it. So it's still in the box. But that price, even here in Hong Kong, their prices are crazy. I mean, especially, those Star Wars figures. But some like some troopers figures, like it's so low. Like you could really purchase any. I don't know. Like probably some collectors here are like quitting. I don't know. It's that right word, quitting, or maybe they need money. And then the price really low, like marked down, like below the retail price. So sometimes like you can see some half of the price of it from
some of the Mando like troopers and stuff have gone down quite a bit, like the tank commander, the artillery trooper, the 2 more recent those
they're down. They're down.
Yeah, exactly right. But then
MRC, you got to open this up, baby.
I know. I really want to.
There's a super deluxe blast from the past unboxing video to do.
Yeah, it's still in the brown shipping box. Yeah.
But
man, price, 1.6. Oh my god.
$1,600. And great thoughts there, MRC and Victoria before. Desy, $1,600. And you pull this up. And I had people, all kinds of Cantina insiders, sending me messages saying, Aries, have you noticing Darkseid Anakin? Have you seen this? I said, no, believe me, I've been watching it since the Obi-Wan series. But listen, I mean, it's a bit insane right now what's going on with this particular figure. I don't know if it's going to last, but regardless, Desy, I think that people were asking me if the price of these figures were going to come down because of this DX Darth Vader. I actually think it makes these things go up. But what is your take?
I would have to agree with you. Remember when people were asking the same thing when they announced the Clone Wars Anakin? And I thought, no, this isn't going to go down. Clone Wars is not a variation of this. It's a completely different figure. It's got a similar head sculpt to the light side Anakin, but it doesn't surprise me too much because there's been a lot of talk of whether they're going to re-release this figure or not. And I think that they eventually will, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. And I think people are starting to see that now, that it's not going to happen anytime soon. And that's the cause for this price increase. if you want it now, you're gonna have to pay. And I've said it many times, Aries, like, this is my favorite Hot Toys out of all the Hot Toys I have. It's not the one that I could say is the best engineered or the best anything, but it just has a presence that in person that's like undeniable. And I'm not surprised by this. It's gonna stay up here for a little bit, at least.
Yeah, it's really, really crazy. And SJC with the $4.99 drop. So listen, you drop the bomb on me, baby. I drop it back at you. Thank you so much. And he asked, is the Vader DX the first time we get both bases? Also, shout to everyone. MRC in the building. MRC, everybody loves your stuff. I always look. I know when a figure comes out to check out MRC because I know you're going to get the very first look. But Lane, I'm going to go to you with this. I actually think that we did get a DX that gave you both bases, but I know that like with the Emperor, the Emperor was not a DX, but the Emperor actually got the regular base and the throne.
And yeah.
But like when you got the Dark Side Anakin, which you're showing here, you just get the droid. I don't know about that with DX. Any of you have any thoughts on this?
I'm not sure. Because I've only had 2 DXs ever, which I had the DX18, the Maul from Solo, where he just had the big stupid diamond base that I hate.
Well, I got both of those. Yeah, I got the DX07. It has a diorama. It has one base for each. Yeah.
And then I've had the DX19, the Batman, which is just the one base with that. But I think I love that Vader has 2 different bases because they're totally different from each other. Like kind of like the Bespin Luke, both those bases, one being on Bespin, one on Dagobah, they're totally completely different. So they make for posing or picture taking or whatever you're going to do completely different. But I have to say, you made me really glad I decided to pre-order back on January 21st of 2021, the Dark Trooper.
Listen, but I got to say this to you, Lane. You sold your Dark Side Anakin for $800.
I was waiting for you to mention that.
You should have.
And you know what the funny thing is?
You should have saved it, baby. Just a few weeks.
The funny. No. You know what's the funny thing is today? You showing me this today is because on Thursday I just finally spent the money to pay for my General Grievous statue that is now shipping to me. This blows my mind for a second because I'm trying to think of this. I ordered a 1/6 scale statue, an XM statue. Sinestro from DC Comics. I ordered him. He's a 1/6 scale statue for $4.99, shipping and tax. Think about that. That costs less than a third of this price. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
No, good thoughts. SJC, thank you so much for the $4.99 drop. We do appreciate it in here. And pulling this up here, guys, even from like way before when the series first started, I mean, you started to get the just going back from May before the series started, before May 4th, you see this figure selling for $966. And with anticipation of the Obi-Wan series, and obviously during the Obi-Wan series and after the Obi-Wan series, forget about it. We're going to get back to this historic news and talk about. We also got some other news as well. We're going to go back to. We're going to really dissect this with the panel to see exactly what we think could happen here from Hot Toys if they're going to let this stand. But MRC, you are in the building, and a lot of people giving you a shout out there, MRC, that you're in the house. Mutant says MRC in the house, about time. Also, Mr. Day One. Peter Lamb says MRC equals Mr. Day One review. I see if I could get to all of these. Mandalorian Huntress at table 66. MRC is awesome. I could keep going and going. But MRC, you actually went to Secret Base and got to see this figure, right?
Yeah. Echo Base, actually. Yeah, because they have 2 branch. So they displayed this new Darth Vader in Echo Bay. So it's quite far, so I cannot really get close. Well, even though I have the camera, I can see it from my camera, but then I cannot see it really close. But
How did it look in person to see it compared to this from what you could see?
I always what is this, like, I don't really depend on their pictures, like, sometimes
Right.
they're promo pictures, because sometimes they're additional, color corrections, a little bit of boost of color, or like, contrast. But then once you get there, I mean, like, once you see it, yourself, um you will see if it's really true. I mean, well, it's, again, as I said earlier, it's quite far from me. So there's still like two glass, from that figure.
Right.
It's okay. But then the details, I can see the details is really good. I mean, like, especially that head inside of Anakin. Yeah, and then, well, I'm really happy for that, especially that USB powered, lightsaber. And I'm sure, a lot of Star Wars collectors. I mean, like, those who doesn't have yet, but then maybe if you already have Anakin, and then you don't want that head sculpt, they're not gonna buy. Well, unless you're really really hardcore. But in this in this hobby, it's, if you have a lot of, like, Darth Vader, especially the Rogue One, A New Hope, and then the 40th anniversary. If you really like Darth Vader, but this one, since you're collecting those three, then you have to add this one because of that, that head sculpt. I mean,
Yeah. Are you surprised this got so much attention, MRC? Because we were just talking about that before you came on. It kind of broke the internet over here. And even Hot Toys going with this as their banner over everything else. But, I think the Obi-Wan series, the return of Hayden Christensen has a lot to do with this. And I think MRC as well. This is the first time we're ever getting from Hot Toys a battle damage Darth Vader.
yeah, that's why I think it's really gonna sell. I mean, well, of course, there's still some collectors that maybe still doubting, hesitated, because they already have, I mean, like, many Darth Vaders, but this one, yeah, I mean, like, that face,
It's crazy.
crazy, right? Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, how many people, not only on the panel here, but in the chat, are going to be anticipating when the final production photos goes out? They're going to keep refreshing your channel, MRC. Say, when is he going to get this? When is he going to get this? Because we know you're going to come out and put the video on first. And you know that everybody on here is going to be anticipating your video. So I think we're going to be eagerly waiting to see when the final production photos comes out this later last year, MRC. What you think of it when you get it in hand?
Yeah, definitely will. But let's see the final. I hope they want. Well, maybe they could improve a little bit more.
You think they can make it even better?
Yeah, I mean, like, maybe we can see more of, Anakin face there. But, let's see the final.
Yeah, no, good to get your thoughts on there. Great to have you in here. And then going back to 6scalecantina.com and going to the breaking news, and we're going to go to the biggest mover section. I just went ahead and told you that the Dark Side Anakin has breached the $1,000 tier range, has breached the $1,100 tier range, as sitting at an average right now of $1,106, and is the biggest mover right now. Let's go ahead and go to Desy. Desy, they showed Dark Side Anakin in the Obi-Wan series. I'm going to put this picture up. And it was the best one I could find. But this is Reva's vision where she sees Anakin coming in the Jedi Temple. We actually saw him come in from above too, but we're seeing it in her vision. He doesn't have the glowing eyes, but he's Dark Side Anakin, aka Darth Vader. He's got the 501st, behind him. He's going to be slaughtering. I really think there is a huge potential with the way this is going in the secondary market for them to go ahead and say, hey, here is Dark Side Anakin or Darth Vader, before he had to put on the suit. And I also think, Desy, and this is something I've talked about with Fabio, and I think we both have a couple of different scenarios or a few that they could do this. But could you imagine them coming out with this and then saying, like they've been doing with some figures lately, they give you the Dark Side Anakin head sculpt with the eyes and say, and it's also seen in Revenge of the Sith. Here's a head sculpt that's also seen in Revenge of the Sith. So right there, you could get a 2.0 Dark Side Anakin right there. I think it'll sell this time. I don't think it'll sit in stock, Desy, like it did during The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that, right? There's a lot of potential because of this scene. Heck, even if this scene wasn't in there, I still think they're going to re-release Darkseid Anakin. I just don't know how soon. Could it come tomorrow? Can we get that announcement tomorrow? Yeah, we absolutely could. And there's precedent for it. We're seeing it on our screens right now. But are we going to? I'm not sure. And I'm not sure we're going to get it that soon, but we're definitely going to get it re-released at one point, or even a 2.0. And if we get, like you said, Aries, a light side Anakin, if you will, and the option of a separate head sculpt with the glowing eyes or the yellow eyes, that's perfect. That'll blow their original products out of the water. And then, yes, the price on the secondary market price will come down on the existing dark side Anakin. So we could see it happen.
Yeah, Victoria, that's something that Desy brings up a good point, and something that I've pondered before as well. Even though this is Dark Side Anakin right here, but he doesn't have in the show, he didn't have the glowing yellow eyes like he did on Mustafar at that one moment, right? It essentially is the same Anakin figure, which is another figure that is going insane in the secondary market, pushing over $700 just for Anakin from Revenge of the Sith. And you could get that wonderful Clone Wars one right now from Sideshow that's in stock, but having no effect on that, but people buying that one in droves too, because that was on a very high best-selling wise. But they could kill two birds in one stone. They could be like, here's Dark Side Anakin. They could call it Darth Vader #1, because from this point, and I'm going to go ahead and fill up table 66 here, Victoria, before getting your thoughts on that. From this point right here, he was no longer Anakin. Henceforth, you shall be known as Darth Vader. But they could kill the market with eBay right now and be like, hey, go ahead and get this new Obi-Wan series Darth Vader, without the suit. And, he doesn't have the eyes, and they give you a head sculpt for Revenge of the Sith. That would be insane.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah, I mean, like Desy was saying earlier, I mean, there's a lot of precedent for it. There's the price that this is going for right now, either light side or dark side, is highly suggestive that a reissue or, an updated version, deluxe with both heads, could do very well. I mean, you mentioned the Clone Wars Anakin, and that one's great. I really, really enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy the Revenge of the Sith one too, but there's obviously a market for anything Vader, anything Anakin right now. And they're definitely capitalizing it with the Clone Wars Anakin, with the upcoming Obi-Wan Kenobi Darth Vader. And they got to keep going and, bringing this back as a deluxe, just updating it just a little bit, a few tweaks in there. Maybe you throw in some sort of a robotic arm. You throw in a longer cloak that sits a little bit lower, maybe sits a little bit differently on his head. I mean, just small tweaks could really go a long way. And even if you already have one or both of those other versions, you'll be enticed to pick it up again, especially with what these are going for right now.
Absolutely. And with 117 in here, the bots have returned. But just like a video game, let's blow up the bots, baby. and Lane, this blowing up in the secondary market for Star Wars Dark Side Anakin. You could have waited. Even if you didn't get 1,600, you could have got 1,200 anyway, baby. Listen, uh, I even if they don't, because I'm kind of with Desy on this, they may wait till the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, but they sure as hell they're going to give it to you then, because it was pretty pivotal in that one. But man, this is high. This is really, really, really high. But I think that there's a few scenarios, and I think any of these scenarios we're talking about, Lay, where they can put this out, it's not an exact reissue, so you don't have to worry about it being a reissue of the exclusive, because it won't be. It'll be a 2.0 version.
Yeah, I concur. If they were gonna do a sort of 2.0 like we had the Mark III we talked about earlier or something like that, I think they would brand it like Obi-Wan or something and make some subtle changes and everything to the look and style of the outfit so that it would be a little bit different. It obviously would not come with the Mustafar droid or anything like that, you know? So I think they would do enough to make it its own separate release, but yet maintain the look and style of the Dark Side Anakin, which I think would be perfect for people, because people like you and stuff, and I have in the past, have owned the original Dark Side Revenge of the Sith one, still have the uniqueness to our figure, but then people who cannot spend $1,600, on a Dark Side Anakin might be able to get something similar, but also still its own thing as well, and have that kind of look to Anakin to go alongside the Obi-Wan, like the Battle Damaged or something.
Mark Attack goes, the booty bots are back. I don't know where these come from. I tell you the truth. Anakin on Stap is fire. Little bit of a plug. Gonna do the dual unboxing lane. Finally, The Rock, Fabio, and Aries, all three of us, are going to do the
Rock and Sock connection. Does reunite there?
Yes, we're gonna reunite. Stone Cold as well. Anyway, next week, on the Sunday Insider Show, I will be unboxing my deluxe Cheer It, finally. And finally, Fabio's been waiting. He will go ahead and unbox his Anakin with the Stap. Dual unboxing, crazy unboxing, dual crazy unboxing squared. Next
by the best
Sunday.
By the unboxers who are both better than me.
Yeah, no, you're better, Lay. Fabio might be great. I mean, he's got an unboxing, he has 8,000 of these to go ahead and do. But a little bit of a plug over there. MRC, I'm going to go to you with some other news here. And this has been very hard for people. But I finally had to put it on the market value chart, MRC. The Arena Suit Boba Fett, the exclusive from the Summer Showcase, this one right here on the screen, now is in the market value chart at $850 and rising. That is the second biggest mover. If you go to the biggest mover section here, under Dark Side Anakin, forget about animated Boba Fett, but actually the Arena Suit Boba Fett went over it. It doesn't appear that they're going to make any more MRC. Are you surprised how many people are looking for this Arena Suit Boba Fett? I guess they didn't make very many of them.
Yeah, well, it's only 300 pieces.
In Hong Kong, right? Yep.
Yeah, in Hong Kong. I'm not sure in Sideshow. Do you guys know like how many?
I think it was 1,500, and I know Fabio's, and there's so many of the people's in there, single songwriter. I don't know if Lade or Desy, or Victoria, how many they made. I heard it was 1,500, but I don't know if that's a guess.
I know a few people who are allegedly on wait list, for the figure. Some have had converted in this past week. Some people have had some conversion notices for the Arena Boba Fett's. So if you're on the wait list, keep your eyes out.
Yeah, and what happened there, MRC, here with Sideshow, and I don't know if you've heard about it, they were allowing, it was a complete, mess up, a cluster frack, if you will, that they did. They were allowing 6 at a time people could order. and then for 15 minutes, and then they stopped, and then they only allowed 1 or 2 at a time. Isn't that right, Desy? Isn't that what happened?
That's what I heard. That's
Yeah.
what I heard. So, yeah, I can see why that could lead to problems.
Yeah, because it sold out in like 12. It was waitlisted, I think, in 12 or 13 hours or something like that.
It was nice to see, though. It's nice to see, especially with an exclusive, like it actually being exclusive. Now, granted, this was more of a sideshow mistake with the whole order up to 6, but it was nice to see it sell out so quick. I think we need a little bit more of that in the Hot Toys brand.
Not being Whiplash 2.0.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
And you're seeing some of these here. Go back to you, MRC.
How much is
850? I can show you a bunch of auctions where this keeps selling for $850 for this figure. It's very, very nice. But do you think that this is something that Hot Toys may do more of? Like they may do limited, not only for cons or for exclusives or whatever? Because this is the same mold. Right, Emar? This is the same mold as the Empire Strikes Back. Boba Fett, the same one as the vintage color, right?
Yeah, it's the same. I mean, well, some people here won't buy that because, of course, they already have the other color of Boba Fett, especially the animated too. The animated also is already marked up. Like, I mean, the price is also crazy, like probably around 500 US dollars or 600.
Yes, yeah.
The animated version, yeah. And then the price of that here in Hong Kong, if that's 850, it will be 6,600. But then here in Hong Kong, they're selling this arena suit Boba Fett around probably around 500 here in Hong Kong, 500 US dollars. That's the max. When I check, every time I check we call it the carousel. It's like the second market, where you could find some secondhand Hot Toys, and the price around 600. I think that's the max. But 850, that's too much. I mean,
it's so much, and I don't think they made very. How many do you think that they made for the U.S. and Europe if they made 300 there? What would be your guess?
Sometimes I can't really. It's hard to guess. Probably just hundreds to hundreds, not thousand.
Yeah, I mean, I think the guess most people like 1,000 to 3,000. I would think.
Yeah. Well, of course, if we're going to talk about like money, like business, for Howard, then then he's gonna make a lot of this, like especially in for sideshow website. But then here in Hong Kong, maybe they know that 300 is, I mean, like they don't want to risk like to make it like 500 or 1,000 because probably some other like collectors not gonna buy something like that because, I mean, again, as you said earlier, like it's the same mold. It's just the color black, but for that comics, only if you like comics version, then this would be a great addition to your collection. But then
it's probably going to be right up there with it was already past animated Boba Fett, but I mean it's very limited. Yeah, for sure.
Do you like it? Do you guys like this the color? I mean, do you like what do you guys think?
Oh, I think it's so hot. I mean, I think it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And this goes to show MRC, that they could give us the white prototype Boba Fett that Sideshow put out. They could give us a complete stealth one, complete black chrome one. They could do and ending credit scene ones. And what Victoria, let's go to that question as well for you. How do you think that this looks, as MRC asked there? But also, this is something that Sideshow said, hey, we didn't think that they were going to go with that these would sell that many. And they actually said, even live, I heard that, hey, you know, we're not making any more of this. It sold more than what we thought. How much do you think, because they still have the armor exclusive from this time last year, that they were like, hey, let's cut the production because we don't want to keep all those in stocks? I think they might have miscalculated Boba Fett here, though, Victoria.
Yeah, could very well be. You know, like I mentioned earlier with the Dark Side Anakin, that sat for a while. The armor is still in stock. I mean, Sideshow exclusives for like Comic-Con and stuff have stuck around for some time. So it is quite possible that they decided to scale back, do smaller production run on this, and then underestimated the excitement for a brand new Boba Fett figure. I mean, Bobas tend to do very well, especially when you have that, you're in that traditional original trilogy timeline. And I mean, it's a black Boba Fett. I mean, you know, what's not to love about it? I did hear that they did go back and actively cancel some of those orders, or people ordered up to 6, and that's why they opened up the wait list. It's interesting to me that the wait list is still open, though, after, you know, a couple of weeks now. So, I mean, are they expecting more? Are they just anticipating they're going to cancel a bunch more? Like, I mean, I don't know. To me, it's a little odd that it's not like waitlist full at this point. But yeah, I mean, totally. They didn't. It seems like they didn't make very many, and they did underestimate the demand for it.
Yeah, no, really good thoughts here. 127 watching Hot Toys Talk. We're talking about some breaking news over here. Desy, before we go to you, Lane. Desy, that's a good question. Why is it waitlist? Why isn't it waitlist full? What is your take on that?
I'll be honest, Aries. I have no idea how they manage their wait list. You know, it could be because, well, yeah, they've got a lot of people on wait list, but maybe they just don't have whatever criteria, whatever math calculation they're doing on their end. They just don't have enough people on their wait list, knowing how many people normally cancel on a Hot Toys order. And maybe by the time we end this stream, that wait list will be full. Who knows? But if you're on that wait list, there's a good chance you might get this figure, I would think.
I mean, honestly, if you want to get this figure and then sell it for 4 times as much, this is probably, gosh, I mean, it's a little bit crazy. Lay, before we go to you, Mandalorian Huntress says, Arita Fett has changed the Hot Toys collector's game, and I'm all for it. More limited figures, please. Great thoughts there from the Mandalorian Huntress, for sure. Going to some of these other comments I want to put up in here that I saw. 808 Michigan Jedi Lane also says they should have limited 1 per customer. I actually agree with him on that, Lane. I don't even think it should have been 2. I think it was a complete mess up from Sideshow on this. I think that they messed it up originally when they put it up, saying it was coming out in 2023, and then they said, oh, that was a mistake. They made quite a few mistakes with this, dude.
Sideshow messed stuff up and listening and doing stuff. I am shocked beyond belief.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I expected this. Did not expect in a single day, but I expected this figure that we were not looking at, you know, the armor from last year as kind of the main exclusive figure, as well as the other alternatives were Neo, which is not coming out to 2023, which everybody said, why is this an exclusive? Why isn't this, one of the summer showcase ones? They're going to take a year and a half to come out. But I mean, I remembered it was from the comic cover, and apparently he's only in it for like that armor for like 5 minutes, basically. The entire 34-part War of the Bounty Hunter storyline. But I think it's the look to it, the total black armor. It had, I think the base, I think the extra, like he comes with 2 blasters so you can double wield them, like Jango Fett, his father, also with the Gamorrean axe or pike. I think he had some unique items that made him different than the other Bobas that had come. And he was $255. Let's not sneeze at the price point they put. I mean, that's less than I think that's the same price the vintage was put out originally.
Yeah, but this is insanity, this price though.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. I think, the 850, but the original price being $255 totally explains to me why that figure sold out. Like, that's a great price point. That's the price point for almost less than most figures now. But
Yeah.
but $850. I like this Boba Fett, but this is a repaint of an old Boba Fett, and I don't even think it's
People pay this though.
Animated Boba
Yeah,
Fett.
but here's the thing, Lane. People pay this for the animated Boba Fett, and so it's kind of like the same old same old. They certainly made way more of those animated Boba Fett, although not
The
that
vintage
many.
though, vintage. I mean, I've seen that sometimes sell for $250, $260 recently. So I mean, that's a similar thing to this, but it hasn't shot up. And I think there's more, like, for at least longtime collectors, because that's the original colorations of the old Boba Fett figure. Like,
Well, listen, if you could find me a vintage color, I haven't seen it sell for that, baby. But if you could find me one 250, 260, let me know. I'll pick it up. It hasn't gone up where the other ones are there, Lane. You're absolutely right, but it's pretty high.
But this is an amazing thing. Obviously, people want it because this one ran up to 8. This one has shotgun past
yes.
The animated, which took years to achieve.
Supply and demand. Supply and demand there, my friend.
People really must want it. So I can't argue the price that people are willing.
Speaking of, I hope that this wasn't an underestimation from Hot Toys. I hope this was we're going to keep numbers low. I hope they keep doing it, especially for an exclusive. Now let's get the white armored Boba Fett, the prototype armor. Release that one as another exclusive and keep the numbers low. I think we just need to see this. And again, especially when it comes to exclusives from Hot Toys, this keeps the brand alive. It keeps it from watering down. I really enjoy seeing things like this.
No, and I really do too, and that's great. A great point, and I think Mandalorian Huntress put that up before. This is the new way for Hot Toys, and I've been pointing out for quite some time. Is it possible that we're going to see reuses of molds that they have licenses for a lot more time, where they can go ahead and put out though, just because they put this out, they could go ahead and put out the white prototype armor Boba Fett Desy in either this mold or the Return of the Jedi mold. They could keep using those molds. Gosh, many more times.
Imagine the profit. I mean, they've already got the molds. I'm sure they've already paid for it by now. And now they're just profiting off these different variations. And the point is, each of these look great on display on the collector's shelves. You've got the original Boba Fett, then the black one, then the white one, then the vintage, then the animated. It makes for a great museum display, Boba Fett through the ages.
Yeah, and Victoria, another point to that, which is interesting, you're starting to see them, do these things with head sculpt figures as well. And I was very surprised that they came out with the Neo. And I really liked the new Matrix movie, but I know a lot of people didn't like it. It didn't do very well. That figure's not selling very, very well. They knew it wasn't going to. And I think they only put in Hong Kong, gosh, not very many of that Neo figure, probably not a lot here, but that's a head sculpt. So I think that, they could do it. It's not just non-head sculpt figures. They could reuse molds. Gosh, they did with that Leia. You got the same head sculpt Leia, Bespin Leia, Hoth Leia, Endor Leia. I think they may use it again, honestly.
Yeah, certainly. Anytime there's an opportunity for really any of these toy companies to reuse something, to repurpose it and save on costs, considering what everything is costing these days for manufacturing, for production, for the logistics of transporting things across the world, they're going to take it. And, it certainly makes sense that they're going to keep doing that.
And Irish Scout 6310 says, I think the wait list came back open because some people from Europe had pre-ordered and then canceled when he became available to order across Europe the other day. Oh, that's a good point. So maybe that's a good reason why. So I wanted to put that up over there as well. It looks like that the bots returned, but the bots have been blown away. All right, we're going to go ahead and go to the next topic in here, which is really, really interesting. Victoria, I'm going to stay with you. And it's getting really interesting with Gina Carano right now, but even more so with the character Cara Dune. And, what I'm putting up here onto the website, Victoria, is this picture here. You see Cara Dune on Star Wars. This is StarWars.com, which is owned, Victoria, by Disney. And they got Gina up here. They got Cara in the database. You could go ahead and go to Sideshow right now and buy a Cara Dune figure, premium format statue figure, whatever you want to call it. They call it a premium format figure. No one's caring. No one cares about it. I haven't seen it on the news that why is she up here on the website? And I have a hunch, Victoria, that even if in the worst case scenario, that Filoni and Favreau find a way to bring her in season 3, even if it's just as a cameo, and write off the character, that's a figure right there. But let's talk about her for a minute. Is this something that if Disney has her up, that they won't allow Hot Toys to put this out? Because they have her up on her website, on the website.
Yeah, it's a little complicated. I don't think it's going to happen though. I think they have her on the website because she is part of the canon. She's in the Mandalorian first couple seasons. So, the fact that they have her in the data bank makes sense. People are gonna, even people that are oblivious to any of the stuff around her may search her, and you would expect that she would come up on StarWars.com. But I just don't see them moving forward with anything further at this point. Hasbro was really quick to pull the reins in on production of anything they were doing with her. And I know she's kind of doubled down on her views and is being very much celebrated with people that align with her ideas. So I don't see any of these manufacturers or even Lucasfilm rescinding that order to for them to that they can make stuff up. I don't think it's going to happen. Would it be cool? It'd be cool to have her figure on the shelf next to Mando, next to Queel, next to, hopefully we get a Grief Karg at some point, but I don't think it's going to happen.
So, and let me stay with you with this here. What do they do then if that's the case with the character on the show? Do they that's it? Because I think that they could do that. In other words, like, I hear a lot like, hey, how do you write her off? There's been in shows before, Victoria, where there's a character that's in there, and then you don't hear from them again. Case in point, let's go ahead and take DJ from The Last Jedi. And then we didn't see DJ again from, in The Rise of Skywalker. Is it possible that, hey, she's just gone and they don't have to do anything about it? And then they just keep her in a database here. It's like, oh, yeah, she was on those two, but that's it. We don't have to do any more with the character.
Totally possible. I think the story threads they were trying to weave into Mando season 2 with her, kind of suggested she'd be taking on a different role going forward. So if she does, that could be the rationale for having her step out of the Mandalorian story. She's gone on to do something else. I don't really think they need to explain why she's not there at this point.
Absolutely. Desy, just really good thoughts, Victoria. Let's talk about Cara Dune, Gina Carano. Cara Dune is the character. Is there a chance that, we could get a figure from her? Let's say that, they do work something out and she's able to come in as a cameo. But I also think that they don't have to do anything and they could just let it ride off like DJ from The Last Jedi. You don't have to actually see the character again. What are your thoughts? What do you think? What does your gut tell you could happen here with this?
I think I'm going to have to align here with Victoria. I think that if Disney does work something out with her to come in as a cameo, then there is a chance. There is a chance. But as it stands right now, unfortunately, and I do emphasize unfortunately, I don't think she's coming back. I think she's just going to be, no one's going to mention her again. And then this picture of her on Star Wars is kind of like the equivalent of her act in the show. Like, you can still see her in the show if you go to Disney Plus because she's there. She's part of they didn't blur out her face, right? So I think things like the Sideshow statue, which was announced before the whole debacle went down and everything happened, that went through. but I don't know what the deal is right now. If they were to make a figure of her, then technically, I don't know if Disney would have to go back to her and say, okay, now we got to work out some kind of deal, and pay you money because now somebody else is making a figure after what happened. I don't know how that works. So for now, I'm gonna say probably not, unless she makes a cameo in a future episode.
Good thoughts here. I know a lot of people, a lot of conversation, MRC, around Cara Dune. Is it possible, MRC, that they could recast her? Maybe don't use Gina Carano, maybe a different actress. There's been some rumors about Lucy Lawless, who used to play Xena, Warrior Princess, and number 2 in the reimagined Battlestar Galactica, and so many other great things. She was in Spartacus. I could go on and on and on. I love Lucy Lawless, but could they go that route, MRC? Maybe a different actress, and then a Hot Toys would say, okay, here's Cara Dune, a different actress though.
Well, I think well they could, like the Star Wars. I mean, like they could really change the actress. And if Hot Toys is going to make whoever is that new actress, maybe not now. Probably gonna take like, for me, I think years. Imagine until now we haven't get any Han Solo, young Han Solo. Yeah, I mean like any new Han Solo.
Han, where's my
figure,
best man
right?
Han?
I know, right? See, imagine that. I mean, for this one, I think that they don't really focus on this one for now. I mean, they probably gonna think of other figures instead. But for this, Cara Dune, I mean, if even if they change it to other character, we don't know. It's hard to tell, but they're probably gonna do it. But then probably again maybe years. Like especially if you
Yep.
imagine those other characters like we kind of like suddenly like surprised. Oh, there's this new character. Wow,
Mhm.
we can't believe like it's already there. They made it, but then yeah, it's well possible. Yeah, possible. They're gonna change the character. I mean, movie industries like that. They could do whatever they want. Like I mean, like as long as they could find a actress that could fit to this series movie, then yeah.
Well, let's go to some of the comments in here. Thule says, correct. Just recast her. Anything else brings too much drama back into the mix. 808 Michigan Jedi says they could replace her for someone else as Cara Dune. Putting some more up on here. And from Starkiller, welcome in here, Starkiller. Only if Kathleen Kennedy is fired and Favreau or Filoni have free reign over Star Wars will Gina Carano come back, I think. William Cote says DJ took his money and ran. Yeah, he sure did. He sure did.
Smart man.
Yeah, so many comments in here. Charlie the Unicorn, if you say something as a public figure, then you get heat for it. Well, you certainly do. Mark Attack goes, Cara Dune won't appear again. For sure. Gosh, so many up in here. But Mark Attack says Grief Karga is coming. Yes, we need Grief Karga to come. I actually believe, and I've called this, that he will come and get officially announced this year, before the Mandalorian season 3 in February, but we'll see. I think it's due. I think I want to see Carl Weathers. Charlie the Unicorn puts up in here, can Hot Toys make a buck off this character? I say, yeah, well, they can make a ton of money off this for sure. All right, so we're on to the last leg of the show, and we just got a few more minutes up in here, and then we're gonna call it in. But I'm gonna go into the next and last and final topic. And Victoria, I'm gonna start with you on this before we go ahead and we end. Going to another female character, there's perhaps some conversation that Princess Leia from the Return of the Jedi could be erased And there she is. The slave outfit is what I'm talking about. And I'm trying to find the one side by side. So in a recent promotional material from Disney, licensed by Disney anyway, you see the original Return of the Jedi poster with Carrie Fisher being replaced with a Hoth Leia from Empire Strikes Back. They could have at least put in Bush Leia, Leia, with the. I mean, what is your opinion on this? There's so many in here, collectors that would want a Jabba the Hutt slaying Leia, Jabba's prisoner Leia, whatever way you want to call her. What do you think about this?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know how official. I think was this from a shirt? I believe I had seen. I don't know how.
Yeah. I don't know how official it is either.
Yeah,
but it's certainly stirring conversation. I mean, do you think Disney would really do this?
I don't think that they would. In fact, during one of the Q&As with Hasbro, I went straight to them and I asked, is there any sort of rule or any sort of demand from Lucasfilm that you guys don't produce figures of Leia wearing this outfit? And they said, no, there is no such, rule. And this was fairly recently. This was probably like 6 months to a year ago. So if that is true, what they said, and, I take them at their word if they say there is no such rule, because, I know there's been a lot of rumors about that for several years now, then, I'll take their word for it. But, I mean, this is interesting. It could be something, in this case, being a shirt, that the company selling the shirt thought it was in better taste to do this. I mean, I don't know if it's officially licensed or not. So it is weird. I don't think Disney's going to go back and change it. I always love what Carrie Fisher said about this, that, if a child asks, why is she wearing that outfit? That, a parent should explain that because some, fat, vile gangster captured her and she retaliated by choking him to death.
Yeah, she won. She was a heroine in that, and she choked it. She tapped him out, baby, forever.
Yeah, totally. So I mean, I don't see that being a thing that they remove, because then you'd get into territory about, okay, do they remove Cara Dune? Do they remove this and that? I mean, I don't think they would do that. I mean, it's possible that we just don't see this portrayal of Leia quite as much anymore. But that could be more of a reaction by companies and retailers, more than it is a mandate from Disney or Lucasfilm. But I don't think they would go as far as to just totally not use that poster to use, to change those scenes. I mean, I think the movie is the movie, and I think that'll always be the case. We may just see a little bit less marketing. Again, maybe not from Disney or Lucasfilm, but on the decisions made by some of these companies to willingly just scale back from that portrayal to some extent.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like the bots are back right on time. Let's blow them up, baby. Desy, I mean, maybe because I'm not from planet Earth. I'm from planet Delboria, and of course I have the Cantina on my second home on planet Tatooine. But I don't think in this day and age that this is the skimpiest outfit on the block anymore with everything on TV and the movies I'm watching, or am I like blind?
This is essentially, a metallic bathing suit, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's covered up half the way right here too.
Yeah, you've got a skirt on. I mean, if you hate this, you must absolutely hate Frazetta artwork, right? Like, I don't know what to say. If Disney is somehow not marketing this or preventing it from being marketed, that's one thing. Maybe they're not. Like Victoria said, maybe there's no agenda there. Maybe they're just, hey, they don't like the name Slave. That's why they removed the name Slave from Boba Fett's ship. Maybe that's it, and it has
maybe that's more with that, which is an easy fix, because you could just say, Jabba the Hutt-Slayer or Jabba's prisoner. I think would be the accurate thing. She was Jabba's prisoner.
In Lego Star Wars, she was Leia, Jabba's palace. That's how they identify
exactly.
It.
Leia, Jabba's palace. There you go. It's even better.
Yeah, and now as far as I mean, I recently got a statue. It was MYC, so it's kind of unlicensed third party. But that's why I got it, because I saw that nobody was putting out any kind of merchandise with this version of Leia. So it's kind of weird. But as far as an actual Hot Toys, the only difficulty here is like she is, no matter what, it's a bathing suit, so her body's exposed. So, and Hot Toys usually doesn't put out like TB League bodies. Usually they'll put out seamless arms, maybe a seamless chest, but then you have jointed legs. So this would be an entire seamless body. So maybe that's why they haven't approached this yet, but it doesn't mean that they won't in the future unless they're prevented by Disney. So let's see.
Yeah, so do you think a clone collector says, and I'll go to you, Lane, here. The clone collector says, need this as a Hot Toy. So, and from what Victoria was saying there, Victoria, that's great news that you actually got from the word of Hasbro that there's no like mandate that they can't produce a Jabba's prisoner Leia. Desy, do you think that there is some possibility, unlike Cara Dune, but with this one, that we could maybe see this someday?
I think so. I think this is different from the Cara Dune. This is really just all up to Disney. If they prevent it, that's one thing. But otherwise, you don't really have a licensing issue here. It's just, what we've all been talking about. Hopefully they don't prevent the marketing of this appearance of Leia.
Well, and you heard that from Victoria, and good thoughts from Desy as well. Mm-hmm. Victoria talking to Hasbro. So Lane, you're back in here. I hope your internet is fixed, my friend. But what do you think about this with Leia? Again, like I said, I see so much more TV where
we had
nowadays this is nothing.
Well, they're talking. I mean, I was seeing some stuff. They're talking about that there's going to be some nudity in like the Lord of the Rings series coming from Amazon, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I need that from Lord of the Rings because I don't remember any discussion.
Yeah, I don't need that. But I mean, this is part of a legacy of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
and Lane, wait, we are getting a 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi next year.
Yeah, so that's what I was about to say. I could see maybe them doing this. Honestly, I think it would be cooler if they did a Leia in the Bosch like bounty hunter outfit. Would be cooler as a figure, because as you were talking about, I just don't know how this one would translate, because I just think about how people complained about that Harley Quinn with showing the knees and the elbow joints and stuff. Would you run into the same? Because how much money would necessarily Hot Toys if they said, okay, this is one of the iconic, like this kind of with the TV League or something. This is iconic. We'll put this out, but how much money are we going to put into development for a 40-year-old movie, too?
Oh, dude, you bet that. Look at the Bespin Luke with 5 weeks at number one.
I know. I know. I'm just saying, but this, I would like to see it, because this is one of, I think, the 3 iconic looks of Leia from the entire, right, good or bad, for that being one of the 3 most recognizable looks. I think her most iconic look is with the rolls and stuff like that, for the bagel rolls that she had in A New Hope, and then Hoth, in her Hoth outfit. Yeah. That's number 2 to me, and number 3 is this look.
MRC, let's go to you. This is obviously a kit bash. This is a Hot Toys head sculpt. I guess, that they went ahead and with a Feisen body, I guess, or something here.
It's a Hot Toys head sculpt. They made it look worse.
Yeah. That's definitely a Hot Toys head sculpt. That's the Hoth Leia, the Bespin Leia, the Endor Leia. But your thoughts on this, MRC? Could you see Hot Toys being able to put a Princess Leia out, Jabba's prisoner, Jabba's palace, whatever they're going to call it? Oh, you're on mute, MRC.
Well, I'm not really sure, because it's almost like bare naked, right? I mean, like, have you seen that? I know it's just
it's a bathing suit. Yep.
Yeah, but then you haven't seen Hot Toys made any female figure that kind of outfit, like they do.
Yeah, they have it even in other.
I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. But probably, but then, because of course, like, Howard is a fan of Star Wars, but we're not sure. It's unpredictable, like, for this kind of outfit. So I think the only choice that we can get this, this look, this outfit is like third party, company. And for Hot Toys, we're not sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's
hopefully, I mean, like, because I really want to. Yeah, me too. Like, I really want to have this, this outfit, like, this look of Princess Leia, to complete all the Leia figures. But then, yeah, I mean, it's hard to really say and predict that they're going to, make this outfit. Hopefully, I'm sure a lot of collectors will, definitely get this one. I mean,
oh, for sure, for sure.
yeah, it's 100%. I mean, it's.
And they would
But
just need to use that head sculpt.
yeah, this one looks good. I mean, like,
Yeah, it's the Hot Toys.
yeah,
It's the Hot Toys head sculpt. I think.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, like the look, yeah.
yeah,
Especially if you have the Jabba the Hutt, what's that? The sideshow. I really want to get that.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, but
That would be. I mean, it'd be so awesome. It'd be so awesome there,
yeah,
MRC. Desy, giving you the final word on this. You've heard everything here. That is a good point. I haven't seen them come out with something that was this clothesless. However, I don't know if that it's a. I don't even know. I was always thinking in my mind they could put a rating on the box, right? But I mean, it's just part of a movie that was rated. I don't even remember what Return of the Jedi was rated.
Probably PG. I think it was
PG.
PG.
I mean, I don't know. What final thoughts? Go.
I don't think it's a big deal unless the powers that be make it a big deal. That has to do with Disney, Hasbro, too, Hot Toys. If they make it a big deal, it's a big deal. If not, then it's not. And as far as Hot Toys actually making it, yeah, they would have to either use an existing body that they have access to, kind of an OEM body that's already available if somebody's going to give it to them, or design an entirely new body. They have those two options. I don't know what options they have available from those two to them. I don't know if they can use an existing body. If they can, that's it. They've got it. All they have to do is do the fabric and the actual clothing, and you're good to go. But hopefully we'll see it.
Well, listen, everybody, I want to give you a little bit of a heads up. If you are a Cantina insider or want to consider becoming a Cantina insider, another show tomorrow morning for Cantina insiders, 11 a.m. Eastern, just like last week. Now, you see up here on the screen, last week, if you look under where I'm lifting up my hands, it says join today. I had the show Dark Sisters, and we had so many in there with that special show, Dark Sisters. You could catch the replay of that. But tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, tomorrow, July 31st, Game of Markets show, exclusively for insiders, official distributors versus official scalpers. I'm going to blow your mind tomorrow. You're going to love this one. 11 a.m. in the morning. I'll have the coffee. Cantina insiders. I know a lot of you will be looking forward. I may explode on you on this one. But again,
Eric might be having to try and save his scalp from some of the scalpers, depending on what he says tomorrow.
Official distributors versus official scalpers. You're going to want to go ahead and check that out tomorrow for sure. Insiders, do appreciate your support. Make sure you bookmark 6scalecantina.com. Guys, girls, this was a lot of fun.
It was indeed. Thank you. Thank you, Aries. It was a lot of fun
Thank
here.
you, Aries.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you very much, sir.
Really
I have,
fun.
and listen, I would let you guys all talk on your channel, but I've been talking you up all show to make sure you go ahead and subscribe. But listen, you want to make sure you subscribe to Victoria at Victoria's Cantina. I've got the link to Victoria within the video description below. I think at the end of August, Victoria, we have a date already. I'm going to come on your show in the Cantina Cocktail Hour, right?
Yep, Cantina Social Hour. We'll be talking, I think, the 27th of August. So really looking forward to that.
And MRC, I think everybody knows who you are as well. Always coming out with the very first reviews of these figures. So close over there to the secret base. Love your channel. Always love your reviews. I've been a big fan ever since collecting Hot Toys before, getting into it myself. A real pleasure to have you in here, MRC.
Same here, Aris. Thank you. It's an honor to be in your show. I mean, like it's really fun, especially for those panel like Desy, Victoria Lane. Guys, thank you so much. And yeah, again, guys, don't forget to subscribe to them. Please keep watching them. Keep supporting those people, like giving you information about collecting. It's really good to listen, especially to ours, like this kind of show. Like you will learn a lot. And yeah, because it's the collecting is very it's crazy. I mean, it's not just like collecting, you just buy it and that's it. No, so it's a lot of like decision, I would say, like decision, discipline. And so you have to always watch their shows, and then like whatever their advice, you have to listen. So yeah, thank you guys. Hopefully next time again. Yeah.
Yeah, no, looking forward to having you back again for sure. That's great. MRC in the house. Link to his channel in there. Desy has the best. If you're looking for a base topper, if you're looking for a diorama, he's got his own channel. He's got over 1,000 subscribers. Look, I'm just going to play this for you. It takes 20 seconds. Let me go ahead and promote him. This is what he made for me. I got it in my display. Is it possible that diorama base, which Desy made a whole video, like 20, 25 minutes on how he made it for me, is the centerpiece of my Hot Toys collection? And I say, yes, it has light up function. He did everything in there. Desy, I just wanted to give you a prop out. Guys, you got to subscribe to him. He's in the video description below. Desy, it's a pleasure having you in here.
Thank you so much, Aries. Honored to have a piece in your collection. And thank you, everyone. If you could subscribe, great. But I'd like to say, hey, subscribe to everyone here. We've got a great community. It's a great hobby. It's a little niche, but it really is awesome to have so much content available on YouTube for free. And all you got to do is subscribe and check out the videos. So please do that.
Mandalorian Huntress says, badass display. It sure as heck is, girl. Thank you so much. Star Killer says, great job on the display. Desy, absolutely. It's crazy. Single songwriter, always supporting in here, saying subscribe to Metamorphic Customs YouTube channel. Absolutely. Lane, always great having you in here. Lane, I'm just so glad you are feeling better, my friend. Thank you for coming on the show.
Well, let me just say for also quick what everybody else is doing, I'll throw some shout outs. Desy's dioramas are always excellent. Victoria, I've not been to her channel yet, but I am definitely going to go check it out after this, especially since Desy seems to have to make sure they answer the hard questions to Hasbro. So that's always good to hear. And then, of course, Mr. Regan is always a great source. If you're considering a figure, but you want to wait till it's released in Hong Kong to actually see someone have it in hand, his reviews are some of the best that you can watch. And he's very straight to the point and knows what the figure is the prime time show, what people want to see, and he made sure to go over them with you. You made me feel really good about picking up deciding to pre-order that Dark Trooper day one there the other day. So that's always that I was like, that's always a good thing. And then of course we have Mr. Aries here, our wonderful host tonight. As I have said before, I am an insider. Always consider being an insider. Aries always provides excellent extra content. Obviously, as he already promoted, we're going to have a wonderful stream that he'll run tomorrow. But also, the market value chart is always, and we've got a lot of people who offer a lot of special service or offer a lot of information. Aries also, as we had earlier, the market value chart is a excellent resource if you're trying to kind of see what certain figures are at. Obviously, he can use it also to remind me maybe when or when not I did a necessarily good decision when to decide to sell something. But, you know, I still like him anyway. But
Dark
you
side
have
etiquette.
Anyway, but everybody else here is one's wonderful channels, and I'm just going to do a quick plug because Monday night on Collecting Weekly, it has taken forever. I am finally recovered enough. I will be unboxing the J&D Catwoman statue, $2,000 statue, on there on Monday night. So if you would like to come hang out in Collecting Weekly, another channel that I have been on with, I will be on there, and there was some other stuff going on, but that's what I have going on here upcoming. And I also want to say thank you for everybody in chat who joined us tonight. It was, as always, fun to engage with everybody.
Well, thank you so much, Lane. All good stuff there. Always a pleasure to have you in here. Everybody, thank you so much for watching 6 Scale Cantina's Hot Toys Talk here on Saturday night. We will be back next Saturday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Again, I will be on with Insiders tomorrow at 11 a.m. You don't want to miss that. And then don't forget, Monday, starting at 8:30 p.m., it's the big show with Aries and Fabio. I think we may have perhaps something new tomorrow night. We'll have to see, but certainly no shortage of things to talk about. Remember, go ahead, Lane.
And I was going to say one more thing. Do not forget, the most important thing to do as we leave you here, get ready to get down to that Aries funky beat on the way out the door.
I don't always buy coffee out, but when I do, I buy it from 6 Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends.